Speaking of, we are live now. Welcome back, everybody, to the next episode of Season 2 of Abomination Vaults, which isn't really Abomination Vaults at this point, but I still call it that because that's what the title says.
God, I love life.
Who wants to give me a recap of what happened last session for a hero point, plus another hero point to give to one other person?
Are we talking
which
about
last session?
which
There's
one?
two here.
The one from
Yeah.
last week. And also,
Okay.
a bonus hero point for those who did the who wants to recap yesterday.
Okay.
Also, you all only have one hero point to start with. But
Let's
whenever
go
you get a
last week
20,
first.
whenever you get a 20, you can give someone else a hero point. Whenever you roll a 20.
Okay then. I'll recap what happened yesterday. You recap whatever happened last week.
Who wants to recap what happened last week? No one.
No, wait. You know what? I choose volunteers. I'll choose Brio. You haven't done it.
Brio, it was a lot of your session to be had.
It was mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, you want me to retell what happened yesterday?
No,
the day
no,
before.
the day
The
before,
week before.
Tuesday.
Oh yeah, I can do yesterday.
Oh my fucking god! All right, you want me to do both of them for both hero points? I'll do them both.
You might need them.
All right, probably. Okay. So we went ahead and went down to, I think, is it the 6-4? Right?
Yep.
Okay, we went down to the 6-4 after slaughtering. Well, we didn't slaughter the Hydras, but we definitely messed up those rock elementals with some helping out those ghouls, and we had to deal with a Destrashan. That's a one name that I will never forget. And what is a worm thing, right? From wiping out all the ghouls. Honestly, should have probably just let it happen, but we need them for one reason or another. After that, we went ahead and went to the water area to look at the scenic waters. It was not a fun time, as Taro got pelted a lot, and the weird giant hentai monster fleeted back into the depths because it was severely injured, as far as we know of, and said something about Jafiki. We were like, okay, after healing up, we're feeling alright, we're feeling spry. We go ahead and go south. When we go south, we see like this weird like scorch marks or something like that. Honestly, should have checked it. We went ahead and opened the door, and we saw some mushrooms that were just, dormant as far as we knew of. No one checked the mushrooms, for good reason at least. Poisonous spores, never know. Went ahead and went to the door. It was locked. Knocked on it. Okay. Some paranoid schizophrenic named Jafiki's behind it. Shade and V. V was like, alright, let's open this door and force our way in, like we're the goddamn police or something. Not one twice. Shade, not 20, throws the door wide open like he's Superman. Jafiki and the Drider are freaking the hell out like it's some like drug bust raid or something, and try to set off all the booby traps. Shade just goes ahead and tries to flashbang everyone with the smoke bomb and all that stuff. No one can see anything except for Shade and I think one other person. Gas was starting to fill the room somewhat, and then a fireball was thrown. That was countered, critically countered. Otherwise, we would have just been Oppenheimer 2, Electric Boogaloo. We managed to take out the Drider. Unfortunately, killed them. And did not lock the doors behind us, as Terrio forgot about that. But we fixed that problem, so that's not a problem, thank God. But carried one of the mushrooms, and we're like, oh yeah, we should probably go, find where Jafiki went. And then Shade offhandedly remembered, oh yeah, he's in the Shadowfell now. And Terrio looks to Shade and just says, he's in the what? And that leads to the second session, where we had to go to the Shadowfell with three
You
people.
forgot the wolf.
I
Forgot the band.
And there was the band. And the
Yeah, we
Dryder
got
woman.
the band because me, trying to do the best that
let,
I
let,
can.
let me
as
let
a
me
drunken cat.
I will tell you right now, I have a mental block on that in my mind. So
You also met the worm as well, the
And the
friendly
worm.
worm.
Yeah, like Nilo and Daryl has to
Yep.
fight at dawn.
yep, that will be a fun
Or
time.
was it dusk?
It was
That will be
dawn.
fun.
Yeah, dawn.
Because no one fights before dawn.
And we informed the Dryder about her late dead husband, and then she went off to publish her drow smut. And apparently,
Accurate?
I don't know wherever those monkey-looking things are again, but they're really mad that
Their nuisances.
their band is that plays their music there is gone. Honestly, just get them a jukebox. Simple as that. Nilo got drunk and pretty much skirted around their responsibilities. Other than that, if anyone wants to fill in anything notable, that's pretty much the general information. Session 2.5.
Yeah, I think Nilo said Shade or Nilo can do this one. You can have your 2 hero points, Sid.
I'll take it. I wanted 3, but alright.
I was gonna say, what part?
The session yesterday.
The yesterday session.
Fun times.
So
Shane,
what
I
happened?
think you got that.
So,
Yesterday.
what happened in yesterday's session is Shade, Nilo, and Teriel went back to the tower. We went down. We got some more soul energy. Mary confronted us about the missing bodies on floor 6, and now Nilo is being accused of taking and possibly eating them until we find evidence of what happened to the bodies. Then we wrangled up the mushrooms that started wandering away. We got 10 of them, I believe, and we locked them in Jafiki's room. Then we teleported to the Shadowfell. We heard the yelling of Jafiki coming from a cave. We went to investigate. We saw a shadow giant in the shape of like a corrupted raven. We talked to it for a bit, and then it beat the shit out of Teriel. Then we...
Y'all attacked first. I'd like to remind you, y'all attacked first.
It was saying it wanted to play with a new toy while looking directly at Teriel,
And
while
you
it was
attacked
standing over a pool of blood.
And you attacked it for it.
We attacked it. Teriel went down. We got Teriel back up. It ran away. We did able to figure out that a queen took Jafiki. It flew down a pit over to where its queen resides.
Before we went down, I drank a little blood.
Shade tried drinking a little bit of blood and immediately got face punched by...
And I felt shadowy, so...
You punched me in the face.
For you. I punched you in your face.
Then me and Nilo carried Teriel down as we went over to where we found Jafiki down the pit with the bird with 3 HP standing over its body while it was wrapped in a web cocoon. It was the area we were in was like a dark webbed forest. We went to grab Jafiki, and then Armanda, the dragon spider angel wolf, came out. She's the queen of the webbed forest. She started taunting us about Jafiki and how that if we want Jafiki, we needed to teleport them to the mortal plane. And after some thought about it, and it trying to petrify Nilo, we unfortunately had to take it with us, where then we were able to save Jafiki. He's alive, and he's made it back to the tower right now. And us three are currently walking back to the mansion after coming back, and we do not know where Amanda and the Shadow Giant are currently. Did I get everything?
Yeah, you get a hero point too. Now you have 2.
Yay. I get 2 hero points. I'll need them.
Yeah.
So did you guys just like sneak off without telling us, or
I'm assuming we told you, and they were like, I'm assuming we told you we'll be back shortly. We're gonna grab Jafiki.
Ophelia, after you made him feel bad for making Jafiki ran off, he personally volunteered himself along with Nilo and Teriel to honor your wishes to get them back, so they went off and grabbed Jafiki so that you would be able to have them.
Don't put this on Ophelia, first of all.
No,
we're putting this back
Sort of
on
what
Shade.
happened. That's kind of
That
what
actually
happened.
is what
And
happens.
if we're gonna be honest too, Teriel, you are the actual reason.
I'm the actual reason.
Because you said we should get him anyway.
Yeah, he's very useful actually. If he actually knows anything about alchemy. But
So
yeah. I know that Farah didn't feel comfortable going to the Shadow Realm after having only a small experience with it. Ophelia didn't feel comfortable returning there, and then just left everyone else, and V was with Farah.
V might have actually just shot Jafiki, to be honest, if you were there.
What? I doubt it. One, I don't have a gun anymore.
So now everyone is now outside the manor. As you kind of spend some time in town a little bit, there's a little bit of time before you get to the manor. Let me actually get everyone on the proper map. How do you interact with each other now? Meeting back up after splitting the party. How do you interact with each other? Teriel is bloodied, almost dead, looking like he is going to keel over.
Let me put it back down to the amount that I was supposed to have. I have no vision of tokens in this map, apparently.
Oh, but
he has dried blood in his fur.
Shade is undamaged.
Shade has a
he is slightly damaged. He has claw marks on his nose.
He has the smallest micro cut on the end of his mouth, on the end of his snout.
Teriel looks like he's been through 3 brick buildings.
Do I notice them walking up at this point?
Yes, you are waiting outside the mansion. They are there.
You see Farah reaching into her bag and grabbing all of the medical supplies that she has and looking Teriel up and down and being like, "Sit now."
Teriel just goes ahead and sits down.
And she starts operating.
Farah comes up and is like, "Teriel, oh my god." She looks to the other two and realizes they aren't marked, and it's like, what exactly happened?
It was a fun time.
So
we saved Jafiki.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Yep. I'm in pain.
Are you also hurt?
I am also hurt. Yeah.
Okay, well then you sit down too.
I have a slight scratch.
You are fine.
He is missing 2 HP.
I'm missing exactly 1 HP.
I will get to you third.
I actually have a question for
Here you go, Teriel. I actually had to get you on the right.
I had to reload because I think.
You're good. You have vision now.
No, I had to reload the map.
Where am I?
Refresh.
There I am.
You on top of
this? This will be Teriel's.
Oh, this is a shame. Stream is not going to be able to keep up with this.
And then this is Nilo's.
There we go.
Wait, why did Shay do a nature critical success?
I cannot see
I don't
shit
know
right now.
why, because I'm the one that rolled this.
Oh, it's this
Everything's
on.
black. I cannot
Man,
see
I critically healed someone without me even knowing.
There we go. It's because
I mean-
this one had a bunch of old map tokens.
Yeah.
This is let me hold on, let me just get rid of everyone. Let me just get rid of
Okay.
everyone. Let me get rid of
Nilo,
everyone again.
Nilo, you heal for 24.
Okay.
Teriel, you heal for 13, mainly because I'm trying to stop as much of the blood flow as I can, which is making it a little difficult.
Okay,
It's
now I'm only a
just-
little hurt.
It's just a head wound. I
1,
should
2,
be
3, 4,
fine.
5. Who am I missing?
Yes,
Ophelia's
and what
gonna-
is your blood type? Because right now I have a feeling you're just gonna tell me red.
Ophelia's gonna come over and put her hand on Tyriel's shoulder and cast heal.
I should be fine. That wouldn't be necessary.
You
Going
heal.
for another 11.
That
You no
really
longer.
wouldn't be necessary.
Teriel, sweetie, honey,
Yeah.
darling. You no
Honey?
longer have a say in this healing process.
You
I
are being
think-
healed.
I think you should just listen to Farah.
Alright.
Look, look, you guys decided to go to the Shadow Realm, which already
Okay.
not a
Okay.
fan
in
of.
our defense.
I get it.
God
No,
damn-
I get it.
There we go.
In our defense, Ophelia was upset, so we fixed it
Did you?
until
Ophelia suddenly
Yes,
feels
you-
extremely
yes,
guilty.
we fixed it.
Okay. How did you fix it? I'm
We
so
got
intrigued.
Rafiki back.
We found Jafiki
Okay.
and we took him back to the town.
And
Okay.
we released
Is he
some
still
spider
alive?
demon
Serial shot?
dragon.
Wait, you
I'm
I'm
what?
sorry. Please repeat what you just said, Mr. Hurt Boy. Actually, you know what? No, you don't talk. Nilo, the fuck?
Nilo,
Nilo just
what
like
the fuck?
kicks the ground, just like not our fault. I
Is your-
almost got petrified. So the only option was to listen to what it said, and that was to take it back, and it left somewhere, but it's not here.
There's a
Sorry.
spider
It was-
creature from the Shadowfell
it's
in
more like
this
a dog
realm.
queen. But it'll be fine.
Was it the thing that I made friends with?
No.
No. well,
No.
I
Unfortunately.
would say that's my fault. If I
it's a
wasn't
fun
injured,
thing.
we would be fine.
Actually, it's all of our faults for being dumb enough to just not leave. I hate to say it.
Did you
really
overstay
hate
your
to
welcome?
say it, but we really should have just left. We got beat up by a minion.
It was a
And
very
almost got petrified by said queen. So I almost legit died.
We?
Cool.
I was scared.
Cool.
Ophelia turns away looking extremely guilty.
Well,
Very confused as
But
to
we
here's-
why
got
you
your
said this was
Fiki
a
and we
good
did our
idea.
job. It's okay. Everyone gets a pat on the back.
We-
Meeting time, I
we
guess.
came back
What-
alive.
what
Jafiki's
job?
here. All of us came back alive. That's what
Yes,
matters for right
is.
now.
That is a significant positive. None of you are dead. However,
Ariel might have almost died. Very much
here there is
so.
almost. Here there is almost.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the fact I had one potion.
I actually still had the
Oh,
lemon on
God.
my person, by the way.
Do I need to start making like extra potions for you guys?
Thing is, we
Just-
never really think to get potions because you're here.
Yeah, that would probably be a good thing. to have
And in
extra
my
potions.
defense, normal potions hurt me. So
Don't worry, so I can hurt you too, but that's for other
But we're
reasons.
fine. Jerfiki promised to make undead and for living potions, so we're good. That's
We're
a little
good.
thing.
We're
Let's get
fine.
this meeting over with.
Let's go to
so
the
I
meeting.
can fight whoever the fuck I need to at dawn,
Here.
and then
Cool.
go to the tower.
Let's okay. Let's
You're
okay.
fighting Teriel, but
I'm
fighting
I
what?
don't think. Yeah, I don't think Teriel's really in.
Terrell just
Are you
smiles.
sure?
You see a smile just creeping across his face.
Talk to you later about that then. Okay. Meeting. How much time do we have?
You
-5
go.
minutes.
Checks
we
my
go.
clock.
They seem to be the guard outside. There seems to be a very large, reddish kobold, about medium size, standing outside, just staring at you all in complete silence. There's this guy that's going to be with you. I have to add this guy to your party. Here, can someone carry? Can someone carry the elf? Here we go. It's for stream.
Wait, why is it so small?
I guess.
It's Tiny looking up.
It's so because this is a dual layer map, it only shows the top layer unless they have a token on the bottom layer. So this is stream. This is chat.
You could have just made it into like honey or something. Like you could have made it into the spirit cat.
Right.
You could have made it into. Could have made it into Ruby.
Yeah, just ignore him. Just
Ruby would
ignore
not be
him.
that small.
Just ignore him.
After healing both of y'all, Farrah's gonna climb up onto the back of Ophelia's shoulder at this point. Backpack.
So.
Oh yeah, you can also tell him about the. You can also tell him about the dead bodies missing because you haven't actually said that in person
Actually,
yet.
yeah. Nilo's going to actually whisper this because he knows he's getting stared at. So you know the Hydra and all the other things we killed on that floor?
Yes.
They aren't there anymore. And the ghouls didn't do anything with it. They actually accused me of doing something with them. So something is taking those bodies.
Ophelia, I will
Yes.
request that you do not mention anything about the gunfight in this meeting.
Right.
None of us need to mention it, because that could be used as a
Don't say anything, Nilo.
something.
Also,
But
to be
yeah.
fair, we don't know who we can trust and who we can't inside this meeting.
Mhm.
Also, the band followed
Yeah.
you because they had nowhere else to go right now because you didn't
Yeah,
actually
no,
drop
no,
them
it's
off
like-
anywhere.
Mm.
They seem
They
they
were
are
going straight
practicing.
up. Yeah. Nilo is going to ask though. It's just like, were they okay? They didn't like cause issues. I didn't think they would, but
Oh no, they're fine. They're fine. V and I can take him over to Yin's place if we're not allowed in.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
I mean, it looks like it might be a private meeting, so.
Yeah.
Kind of staring at the kobold.
You see the kobold. He seems to be resting his like chin on a sword that goes all the way to the floor, and he's
So
just
short
staring at you all. Yeah, this kobold's like at least 5 to 6 feet tall. He is gigantic for a kobold.
He's just as tall as Nilo.
He's
Yeah,
very
there's a-
tall kobold.
This is like this is like a miniature dragon almost. It is such
It's
a
a
large kobold.
It's a swobold.
Yep.
Well,
He is just waiting for you all to approach.
yeah, Nilo is going to approach though because he's just like meeting, even if it's not quite yet. We should be there.
You see him nod to you, his head, as he goes over and opens the door.
Okay.
Okay.
Nilo,
As
who closed it?
Teriel, he just looks at you and shakes his head no.
I guess.
And Ophelia,
Yes.
he does nod you in as well. However, he
Wait.
does look at Farah,
Mm.
and he
Farrah,
also
give me
shakes his
that.
head no.
Um,
Neela's going to like look at the kobold and be like, which door? There's 3. Where am I supposed to go?
He is staring directly at Farah as you see him just point his tail over to the left one.
So, due to
so
a little bit
this,
of a retconning,
right?
I'm gonna change a little bit of how we did ended the last session.
Go ahead.
I'll just whisper into Ophelia's ear, before I hop off and just go, trust Yin. She's got plans, and well, she's important to the Gauntlet thing is that she's Belcora. And then with that, I'll hop off and
She's
walk
what?
over, and then I'll just walk away.
The
Ophelia
kobold
just looks
stares at you
very
expectingly.
Ophelia just looks very uncomfortable and panicked and just kind of waltzes on by while giving Teriel a very nervous look.
Uh,
Teriel just
with that, one of the rest of one of the kobolds on the inside, an actual size kobold, is going to come out and greet everyone.
Hmm.
Seeing as you have all arrived, and knowing you all arrived. Meanwhile, Farah, V, and Teriel, you are currently outside with the band.
So, do we want to go back to the inn with Yin? Wait, the
Yin
inn
doesn't.
run by Yin.
Yes.
We could. V, Teriel, thoughts? Want to go back to the bar?
I think I'm
Man.
fine right here.
You can hang out here.
Yeah.
V.
I mean, I'm indifferent. If they're not gonna
Whoops.
need,
Whoops.
and they're not gonna get in trouble.
Actually, do you want to go to the library? Actually,
As long as they don't get in trouble, we probably aren't needed. So
Well, I just want to put the band gestures at the 5-unit band here. I just want to kind of get them into a better location than where they were, so that Neil can find them later when they decide it's convenient for them.
sure.
You all go into.
Here. You know what? Here, Terrio, you go to the library. I'm gonna go take them back to Yin's place, and then I'll come meet you at the library. V, blacksmith, and then come meet us at the library, or you can come with me to the bar. Your choice.
I will attend you. Sure.
Yeah, okay. So everybody meet at the library in like an hour, 30 minutes.
sure.
Cool. And Farrah starts hurting the hurting the band. Yeah.
You see the alligator still seems to be conversing with the wolf dragon, but the wolf dragon valiantly steps forward and leads the way and follows after you, Farah. As you just hear him look back, says, "Chill, guys, chill. Look, we got. I know the person who hired us kind of went inside, but this is their party, and just like we're a band, they're a band too. So I'm sure they stick together. You know? I trust him."
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. No, I wanted to get you guys a place you guys can rest, you guys can get some water, you can get some food, get a little snackies. I think we have gummy bears there, and Barry just like wanders.
You just see like the small rat being like, "I haven't had gummy candy centuries." Clearly exaggerating, but he seems very, very interested in that. I will roleplay y'all at the tavern in a bit. I will put
Okay.
all of y'all, 3 of y'all, in the tavern, along with the drunken dwarves.
Well, I'm the only one
Meanwhile-
going to the tavern. Terry's
yeah.
going to the library, and then V's going to the blacksmith, and then we're all gonna meet up at the library. I was
Okay.
trying to make your life easy and just have us all meet at the library, and then we just do the library scene.
Okay, and that means for the meeting, as let me get some like really just baseline. Let me just get some like baseline music going real fast, just because it is a little bit dead silent right now.
Mhm.
But you go inside the meeting room, and there seems to be a huge map that is sprawled out before you. There seems to be a map of the region, though how updated it is, you're not exactly sure. There's some things that clearly are missing, some things that have, basically been there but are not there on this map. So it's not the most updated map in the world, but it's a very good map when it comes to basically the general geography of the area. And around the table, you see a few leaders that seem to be sitting in chairs and a few guardians that seem to be behind them. Not everyone actually has a shield of some sorts, but all of it, you feel it's a very protected environment in here. They seem to be discussing what to do with the advancing army as they point over to Absalom, which is the city to the far right of here, and mention about how a lot of activity has been stirring there. And at the head of the table is the High Magus himself. You see Blood give Nilo a kind of courtesy wave as they come into the room, as they kind of almost like have their open palm to a seat across the table. Shade, what exactly are you doing in this room?
I'm going to go sit on the chair.
How do you sit on the chair?
I sit straight up, feet on the ground, hands on the table.
And how is Ophelia and Nilo sitting?
Ophelia is kind of sinking in her seat, feeling very small. She's very confused about why she was invited in here, and she doesn't really know what to say, so she's just very nervous.
I forgot to add her in there too. You also see Yen over there in the far right over there.
Yeah, and she's also like sneaking glances at Yin.
You see a very warm smile come across her face whenever she eyes you specifically, but also welcomes everyone in. Ah, yes, it looks like all of you made it here. Upon my personal request, I've chosen, well, I could only choose so many for the meeting as it is such a secret meeting, and you three seem like the best fit. As Nilo, you've been here from the start, and Shade and Ophelia will have other business as well. Things relating to various elements of the war. The one at the head of the table, the Magi himself, seems to be talking about what he thinks we should do basically after we win the war. Like, he has zero hesitancy. Like, he is thinking what are we gonna do once we are able to stop them, how we should keep them in check so this never happens again. You see the Leshy, you see in the Leshy, and they seem to be different realms, as you see basically an elf realm. There seems to be the Leshy Kingdom. They each introduce themselves as the Magi will stand up, and he also is seeing everyone finally sit down. He says, he introduces each one. We have from Quito, we have Blood Vogueheart, the Queen of the Quito Kingdom. And then we have the Pope Leshy, the basically Pope leader of the Leshy Kingdom of Race Creek. The Goblin Town as well is not sadly represented here today, as they were not able to get them to come out properly. Except they were able to send one of their leaders. Typically they keep themselves to the forest, but they do have alliances within the generalized kingdom. And then you just see him point to the elves, as well as to the kobold town of Mount Cartown and the human town of Port Kurodofok. They mentioned that the activity seems to be getting closer and closer to Otari, as they suspected that a port city would have a high interest. They ask if you have seen, since they've just arrived, they ask you, Nilo, Shade, and Ophelia, have you seen any activity of the enemy?
Ophelia looks to Nilo.
Me specifically.
It looks sort of Nilo.
Well, I have almost been assassinated. I have been accused by them, and there
Well,
was a
more
group of them
framed.
that. Mm, what?
Like you were framed for murder by
I was
them.
framed for murder. There was an assassination attempt the night prior to that. Then, the same time that all that was happening, a group of them, unknowingly to us, came in and tried to, and sort of successfully killed one of our party members.
I
All
need
but one.
everyone to roll a perception check right now.
A hidden? Or up?
As you were talking, let me go ahead and just go ahead and do this private. You all see the Magi stand up, and he starts to say, "Nilo, I need you to duck right now." And he casts a spell in your direction, Nilo. Make a reflex save.
Okay, understood. Give me a second.
I knew I should have stayed.
You dodge out of the way as he manages to hit something that seemed to be floating in air, as you just see a bolt of lightning come directly from his hands, and it seems to hit something as if something is invisible in the air itself. And suddenly, a little pop of magic happens around you, and you just feel a wave of almost like a release of some sort of powerful magic around you. Dang, scrying spells. I hate them.
You know, there's an actual spell used for countering stuff, especially that of higher readings, right?
Oh god, they're actually in the walls too. You kind of see him doing an additional perception check.
Asteriel's just talking to himself.
He does another thunderbolt over in the corner where the plant is, and the mimic plant is now dead. And then he sits back down. Dang.
So yeah, like I was saying, they have been mostly going after me, though.
I can tell. The second you brought that up, I looked at you around you and I could sense it. How long have you been... You wouldn't know anyways. Seems they have been scrying on us. Well, Nilo anyways.
Yeah.
And he kind of like slams his fist down on the table. This is why we need to go to Absalom directly. They're already trying their dirty tactics that they've tried before. We can't let them keep doing this. They're going to have everyone bled out in the streets by the time we decide to do anything at all. We need to take action to go to Absalom itself.
I just hate the fact that there's no real good way to check if people are a part of that, because the only way you can is their backs. That I'm still trying to fully figure out, like, what exactly it means. But they have fire markings on their backs, and it's hard to check that.
You see him you kind of see a curse beneath his breath as he reaches out with his hand and he kind of points his finger in the air, and you see what looks to be a runic fire symbol appearing over in the air in front of you all, as if almost an illusionary magic of sorts. And he points to them and says, "Does this ring a bell to you by chance?" And he will point towards the symbols. And instead of what you are used to, it seems to be almost like a circular set of symbols that have 5 branching paths down to the left, and almost as if a let me go ahead and see if I can't drag and drop an image here. But he seems to be drawing out this image that looks to be what an ancient symbol would be of fire. Let me go ahead and stop under. Let me grab the 7. You see him draw this on the. There we go. You see him draw what looks to be these symbols in the air. Not sure if you can see those.
No, I can sort of see it. I was going to say, would that, because the thing is that doesn't.
It looks nothing like.
It
what
looks
Nope.
nothing
It
like.
looks
what
nothing
we've
alike.
seen.
Kind of
Unless you
he.
say it is.
No, actually, it is not the same.
That's what I thought. I wanted to make sure, but yeah, no, that's not at all. Nilo, does anyone have a piece of paper?
Yes, they. You see the Leshy kind of wave their staff in the air, and they present a small piece of parchment in front of you. Here you go, my personal stash that I use to write my sermons on.
Thank you. We've only seen. I feel like V would have told Nilo what that one looked like. No, actually. Okay, so we've seen the 2, 3, 4, and 5 one, right?
V would be the only one that was in the 5 one. The 5 one
Okay,
was
so
on the
he's-
Chioboa.
I
Okay,
would
if
have.
that's
I
the
would have probably
case-
told.
Yeah, you would have.
Okay, so Nilo is going to draw out the 2, 3, 4, and 5 one. He hasn't seen the first one yet, but he's going to draw all of those, and he is going to like pass it down.
They all look. It says, "Seems they've decided to upgrade their runic markings." Well, I guess the last time they had this happen, they had too many soldiers that were able to, well, break free of their control. And he kind of looks over the piece. He kind of looks over the markings. Yes, these symbols have much more controlling elements about them. It means they might be more mindless, but it's just as deadly as they were last time. Oh. You see him curse underneath his breath.
The thing
And-
is like with the assassination attempt, the framing, and the party of 5, which sadly, the one that tried to get the boats was one of those. That was the only one that got away. But all of that happened within 2 days.
I didn't think they kind of look over some of the other ones. I know not all the generals and kingdoms. Well, he kind of looks over to the goblin and the Leshy and the human kingdom. I know your kingdoms aren't old enough to have seen this happen the first time, but it looks like it might be the same enemy once again. They he kind of looks out towards the group as the elves and, oddly enough, your mother themselves seem to nod in agreement as if it is something that is stated as fact is fact. The kobold seems to also recognize what is being referred to. And they,
What do you mean this happened before?
he kind of looks over at everyone in the group and says, well, about 500 years ago, there was a war similar to this. And they, after some time, well, let's just say the war ended in our favor, or at least as much favor as we could be. They seemed to target key areas and tried to expand out towards Otari a long time ago. But this was before Otari was even, well, where it was today. they were looking to build some sort of shoreline here so they could expand into the main continent. And we fought here on the beaches. And we fought here over, and we used, and he kind of like curses underneath his breath, the gauntlet. He kind of looks to you, Nilo, and he says, "Has the gauntlet been relit?"
Nila's going to look at Yin.
Yen just gives a soft smile and a nod.
Yes.
I knew I saw that. I should have tested that energy when I first got here. Yes, there is much to discuss if it seems that that has been activated once again. Gotta see him talk. This news is gonna cause a recess. I didn't realize it was this dire. And after some time, they also do some general talking. This is going on though, over the course of, well, several 20, 30-ish minutes, as other things are being discussed as well. Mostly politics as well as formalities, but after a while, they begin to call for a recess, and in the process, everyone seems to kind of like get up, and he offers everyone to go over to the sitting area to the left. As you see the guardians of two of them, you see the big old cactus guy and the wolf guy will go over here, and he opens up the door. Here, please step through here for while we have a momentary recess. I accept, He kind of looks over to you, Shade. Shade, while we have a recess, I would like to talk with you with, well, some of the other generals. As we have at least some experience, and we'd like to talk with you a little bit about that. As you see, Blood, Yin, the kobold, and the elf all kind of nod in agreement. Excuse us while we have a more private matter to discuss.
Ophelia's just gonna awkwardly nod and get up and start moving towards the room.
Yin will go in that room as well.
Yeah. Nila's going to try to... What would be a good lie? What would be a good lie? Honestly, Nila's going to try and stealth into Shade's shadow.
Go give me a private stealth check.
Okay. The dude. Where is it? I might be able to do it. It's control, right?
Yeah. We will get back to that roll in a second.
Okay.
It was actually a lot higher than you think.
Okay, that helps.
Meanwhile, at the tavern, V, Teriel, oh no, not V, who went to the tavern? Pharaoh, right?
Yeah, it was just me.
Pharaoh, you bring the band to the tavern and you see the drunken dwarves. You see, of course, the bookkeeper, the librarian, who also seems to be, well, the temporary part-timer for basically all the jobs here, seems to be taking over for Yen's place as you're in the tavern, as you bring the band back in there. You see a few patrons around the bar give a very odd look, a few kind of hushed whispers around what the band you're bringing in, and you see one of the drunken dwarves just kind of point over and say, "Aye, lads, we got some more entertainment coming in."
Farrah will kind of look at them, look at the drunken dwarves, and just go, "Yeah, they're here for just some entertainment. They're here to hang out for a little bit, and then they'll, Neela will come by and say hi to them. Hey, did
Oh
you
my gosh,
guys,
it's raining.
though that other group that was here with us, the kind of weird, creepy ones, did you guys like notice anything strange? Did they leave anything? Did they do anything
There
weird?
we go. There we go. See, we may be drunken, but we still got ears to hear. They were talking something about the tower. Always about the tower, how they were gonna go to the tower. They were gonna defeat everything in the tower. Bloody group of adventurers always thinking they can take on anything that they see. As if the whole world is perfectly within just a few inches of their own capabilities. The cockiness of them these days, as the dwarves seem to be laughing raucously at the adventurers who they thought were just very weak people, essentially.
Oh, okay. That's good information.
Mr. Toothy.
Cool. Yeah, I think I know where they are then. I have a bad idea. Well, I don't really have a bad idea. I have a bad feeling in my stomach. Okay, looks at the band. Play to your heart's content. You'll probably attract more people. Any money you make is yours. You only have to do say 5 gold. Pay start at 5 gold per night to perform, but then after that, any extra that you make over top of that is then yours to keep. You can pay at the end of the night once your band is done. So if you don't have the money to start, you're fine. And if you have any questions, wait until Yin comes back, and she should be able to answer them. Neela will also be back shortly. And yeah, cool. And then Farrah just turns around.
Before you
and
go,
looks at the librarian.
The drummer kind of comes over to you and like, dude, I do have one question though. It's a little bit private if you don't mind me asking.
What?
They kind of lean down, like very close. Dude, can I get like high off you?
Oh my
You
god.
see their eyes like heavily dilated right now?
I mean, if you want to sober up very quickly, you can't really get high off of me, but I can give you a fun, spicy adventure quickly if that's what you're asking. Cool. Give me your tobacco.
They hand you the elven absinthe.
Lovely. I'm gonna like rubbing kind of like my face because that's where most of it is. I'm gonna like scrape off like a little bit of the like the liquid part of the capsaicin that's on my face,
Yeah.
and just coat the tip that he normally huff, or I guess just coat the tip of the absinthe. And just go. Now, just understand that this is something you wanted. And then I'll look at the librarian and I'll go, hey, Teriel was wanting to go check with something at the library. If you want, I can take over bar duties if you want to go help him.
Oh, thank you. I've been so busy that everyone's been, well, running around town. If you could take over, that'd be fantastic. I can go open up the library again.
Cool.
And,
Sorry.
And I'll get behind the bar and start. I'm gonna grab one of the stools and put it behind the bar.
There's two of me.
yeah, that's your old Teriel.
The forbidden timeline.
And so
Yeah.
I will be there until they are done.
And what do you go to the blacksmith? I'm just gonna theater the mind this time. I don't want to load every single thing. V, you arrive at the blacksmith. What are you doing at the blacksmith? You see the dwarf finally home from his excursion of gold wealth that you gave him, and he has finally sobered up enough to actually have control over his own shop again. But he does welcome you in with the most heartiest laughter you could ever imagine a dwarf could have.
I'm not 100% certain why I was told to go to the blacksmith.
I know
I didn't know where
you kind of
I just didn't know where you were ending up. That's on me.
You
I didn't
kinda
know where you wanted to go.
You kind of see the dwarf say, I know that feeling. Ever since I was born, I was always been called to the forge. Man, I wish
I am not talking to him.
I'm not talking.
the forge calls all, my doll. The forge calls all. Though the forge only has so much it can give. If you would ever see a forge greater than this, I can swear to you by my dwarven ancestors, I'd be able to craft you the finest thing you could ever see.
I'm ignoring him. I don't know why I'm here.
Aye, my lad. The forge does call, and when
I'm
the forge
leaving.
calls, you have to answer. The forge always calls, my doll. The forge always calls. And he like yells that as you leave. Where do you go, V?
Probably to the library, wherever we were meeting.
You go to the library.
If that's where we were meeting.
You
I
meet
thought
up
there
at the
was a reason.
library with Farah, Teriel, and Shade. Do you see, not Shade, do you see Teriel, Farah, not Teriel, actually it's just Teriel, yeah.
Yeah, you
You
just see
see-
Tariel there.
I'm like, wait a second, they took over. Yeah, you see the Teriel waiting outside the library as a very rushed librarian in her finest garments have made their way, almost dirtying their garments in their rush to get to the library to open it up. As you see him kind of like shake their head a little bit, like, sorry, the tavern gets busy, we really need more help in this town. And she opens up the library for you, Teriel, as you approach as this is happening.
Teriel's just kind of looking at the library up, and he just seems to be like somewhat out of it, but he just steps in. And when he goes in, he is looking particularly about Amanda and anything in terms of lore about the Shadowfell.
Mhm.
In his meantime,
Go ahead. Go and give me a basic perception with advantage.
1, 2.
Okay, with a 27, it's kind of in the older section. You don't find it in like the monster section. You don't find it in like the creature section. You, after scouring, I mean, this is gonna take you like at least a good while. V, would you like to help him?
Sure.
You begin to help him find the book, and you finally find it, but it's in the history section. And it's in the very back of the history section, where most people don't even look anymore. It belongs to a section on the First War.
Okay. I'd bring it up to him and be like, is this the book you were looking for? Some old war stuff?
What's in it?
I didn't look. I just
It's
skimmed, found some
You-
keywords that sounded like you were looking for.
Shadowfell. I feel
Yeah.
like our new quarry is something to do with fear itself. But sure, let me look. As he goes ahead and starts flipping through it.
Terrio, you look inside this book, and it mentions a little bit of lore about the Shadowfell, and it seems to account the accountant of some sort of, first off, the plane itself, and then it mentions several creatures in there. You see what looks to be a crow of some sort that's been twisted and warped. You see what looks to be almost livestock themselves have been twisted into obscene natures. And you do see in the book the mention of the Amaranda. And it mentions of a spider queen of the forest, the webbed forest as it mentions. And it details about how a adventurer a long time ago managed to find their way to the Shadowfell, and in the process accounting what they saw there into this book. The writing is very old and the book is fragile. A lot of the pages seem to have been almost faded, but you are able to make out what looks to be something about an artifact. Some sort of great artifact capable of holding immense amounts of soul energy inside of it, and it seems to reside in the Shadowfell. And the person in the book details their adventures of finding it. And while you are looking, you manage to see under one of the pages, it details the description of the fortress that it is held in. The description of the fortress is a large area, a large fortress, as if the Shadowfell itself has dedicated an entire landmass to this fortress itself, spanning massive yards. Fully, the wall around it is so high that you can't even see over it, and instead of being multiple structures, it seems like there's large doors capable of giants to go through it. And it mentions something there, some kind of winged creature that would go in and out, as if it is collecting and dropping off something there. And it mentions about the powerful artifact being held there, and how the artifact was so strong, yet he was too weak to actually go and capture the artifact. So with a heavy heart, he left the Shadowfell, knowing whatever protected that hoard was too strong for him to handle.
Asterial just comes, slams the book close, and just puts it into his pack here. Some useful information. Thanks. Absolutely.
And yeah, and it does mention not he. It is not a he. It is a she, as it mentions her findings of the Shadowfell and their first experience with it. They swore that they would go back to find the artifact, but the pages at the end seem to have all been either torn out, ripped out, or whatever the ending of the book seems to be missing. It's as if the story was meant to die, where they left the Shadowfell and never returned.
Well, I have a feeling, but I will not explain that right now.
Do you share this information with the...
Well, he's there. He's there to read it with me. So, yes.
V, are you interested in finding out what Terry will find out?
Not entirely. I'm just there, glimpsing, listening. If he mentions the spider, I'm like, oh, okay.
Like, Terrio's just, like, pretty much writing up notes specifically about this creature and anything that it might be interested in.
You will take a little bit more time as you want to investigate the book fully. Maybe if you can, like, try making out the old, pages. Inside here, though, Ophelia, you're in a room where you don't see Nilo, and everyone else seems to be a little bit confused because Nilo seems to be missing, and say, you see one of the Pope go, "Where is the cat, Commander? I specifically gave them my favorite page of my book, and they seem to be not
I
here."
would have gave the book itself back.
"Where is this kind soul that gave me my book back? I seem to be not seeing Nilo."
Sorry, I was muted. He told me that he would be stepping out for some fresh air. I'm sure he'll be back very soon.
"I am a Leshy and I can stand to be out of the air. How can something undead have to go for fresh air when I, as a Leshy, can perfectly be fine without fresh air for a moment? Their body must be fleshy and weak." They seem to be upset that they didn't get to go outside, but Nilo did.
Well, he's kind of just like panicking at this point with this little Leshy. He's just like, I'm sure he has his reasons. But he's been through a lot the last few days, and then all of you coming in here, I believe he's just a bit overwhelmed.
You see Yen sitting at the far end of the chair, kind of next to where you're sitting. Yes, it's been so eventful. I've barely been able to keep my tavern in check. The patrons seem to like to keep themselves locked indoors at night. The only company I get at night is the dwarves. It's such a shame being a bar owner during a time like this. You think people would be drinking themselves silly, but instead they hide in their homes, and I am left to do nothing here. Hopefully with the arrival of the soldiers, people will feel more comfortable to come to the tavern and partake in the many aged barrels of various liquors I have to provide, which you are all welcome to partake in after the meeting.
That would be lovely, Yin. Thank you.
Dia gives you a very warm smile. Anything, of course, Ophelia. My inn is always welcome. Both night and day, I work tirelessly to make sure that everything is in order.
Can I, like, observe her body language and, like, do a perception check to see if, like,
Yeah,
can look deeper into anything? Okay. Just perception.
yeah, go and give me that. You see her and, like, she seems like you see a very calm demeanor about her, but, like, noticing the finer body movements, you see, like, her fingers just ever so slightly kind of curling on her knee where she is so daintily laying her hands. She seems to be, even though as calm as she is, she seems to be giving off a very unknown vibe or frustrated vibe, as if she is basically being put into a place that she never wanted to be here. But she knows that she has to be here, and it is slowly just getting on her nerves, very much so. Especially not being included in the other meeting. She keeps looking at the door longingly, and then kind of back to the room a little bit as she's kind of looking at the other kingdom owners as they talk their usual politics.
Ophelia's just gonna kind of sit there quietly and pretend to be listening to the other kingdom leaders, but she's gonna keep trying to sneak glances at Yin every chance that she gets, just trying to be like see if she gives anything away, or if, you know, just kind of keeping an eye on her.
You do see what looks to be a mechanical, you're not really too familiar. It seems to be a mechanical, some sort of, like, circlet of sort that seems to be keeping track of time. As the night wanes on, she seems to be looking more and more at her clock, as if she is waiting for something, or she is anxious about something happening either closer as the night goes on.
Ophelia is going to lean over to Yin and tap her on the shoulder and just say, Yin, is everything all right?
She looks over and he says, "Oh well, as a bar owner, you can imagine I always like to be in my tavern at midnight, and well, the rest of the night that's when most of the patrons come. It'd be such a shame to be here past midnight, and I would hate for the meeting to go past that. I must get back to my tavern by, well, the night, of course. You know, that's." And she seems to be more nervous as the night goes on. The meeting in the other room seems to be taking various amounts of time. The time itself here seems to just be almost draining on a little bit. And she does seem to be nervous about the time.
Ophelia's gonna pull open her journal and start taking notes, writing down about everything she's learned so far, and keeping kind of trying to recall everything that she knows about Yin so far.
Would you like to ask her any questions? She seems a little bit off guard at the moment.
Not really with the other people here. I don't know.
I will, you could always try and see if you have any, I'll see if you have any spells that might help you.
I don't think I have any spells that might help. Yeah.
Yes, if you would, like I said, you can always attempt something, or you can always try maybe whenever you might be able to get a private audience with Yin after various amounts of time. But if you can think of some questions, I can go back to Shade and Nilo.
Well, she's gonna lean over to Yin and say,
Hmm?
Yin, I understand you need to get back to your tavern, but is it possible that I speak to you alone sometime soon?
She looks over and you says, well, yes, the tavern is always open. If you'd like, you can meet me in my office. I do have business to take care of at midnight, of course, as well everyone does, but you can, if the meeting is done fast enough, then we can have a small chat before, well, before it gets too dark at night. And she seems to be avoiding, she also hints while also avoiding the word midnight and trying to remind herself not to say the word midnight.
I'm gonna note this down in my notebook, in my journal. And that's all I need.
She will see you at night. If you would like, you can visit the tavern and visit her in her office at night.
Yeah.
Nilo. Yep, and Shade. You are now in a war room as everyone seems to be kind of gathered around the end of the table. You see Blood stand up. They kind of like try to dust off their like dress, but it seems to be more so trying to get in a comfortable position more than actually trying to dust it off, as it seems very uncomfortable in the finer clothings that they are being subjected to wear.
Did I see Nilo go into my shadow or no?
Roll perception.
Hidden or visible?
Visible.
Visible.
That is a really good perception. You just barely feel like a void over amongst your wings have been slightly darkened. You don't feel any heavier, but you do feel as if a small chill appeared about your body before the chill fades, almost as if it is a natural part of your body. That is a really high roll.
Yeah. As a 16 with a 16, I have the highest. I have a master in perception.
You have such good perception, because that's a 19 for me.
How
Yeah.
did you get master in perception? What the hell?
That's what fighters get. They get master in perception. They get
They,
really good eyes.
Everyone around the table, as the Magi, everyone kind of seems to be paying a lot more attention to you specifically, Shade, as they bring up. It's now that we're in. You kind of see the Magi at the star of the table. He says, "It looks like it's them again." Well, I guess they now call themselves. What is it? What kind of name were they trying to put themselves again? Black Hilwerton? Simple names. It's all the same dark god that they had so many years ago. They kind of look over to you, Shade. It says, you're a shadow dragon, correct?
Emerald Dragon, correct. Can I know why you called for me specifically for a private meeting?
You see the Magi kind of point towards your collar. Because that, my dear dragon, is an artifact of the previous war. And everyone else seems to be almost like shaking their heads a little bit as you hear Blood speak up. It was something that we had, well, a long time ago. We used it to help win the war a long time ago, and as they kind of like wave over to the kobold. So yeah, you see you're not sure how old this kobold is, but he seems to be a lot older and with a little bit of necrotic magic about him, as you see almost like this greenish glow come off of him. So yes, I'm sure you're aware of what happened 500 years ago with the Shadow Dragon, correct? I'm sure it must have been told among the lands.
Well, in truth, I do not know much of what happened in the war 500 years ago. I've been told brief things that's my father was in a war 500 years ago, and that this collar was his, but I have not been told much about the war myself.
You just kind of see the Magi curse a little bit. How old are you? Shade, was it? How old are you?
300.
Child. Son of the realm, of course. And he kind of, you see him kind of, curse underneath his breath again. It looks like, how did you acquire that artifact without knowing what it originally did? It must have taken immense power to actually even activate it to begin with.
Well, times are tough in Shadow in the Umbral realm. It was only me and my mother. There's more horrific beings, untold shadow creatures. I used this. I knew this collar had immense power. I found the way to do a ritual called the Lex ritual, which allowed me to put all the magic items and treasure we have in our hoard into the collar. Fortunately, the collar either reacted to the magic incorrectly or reloaded it, because as he shows that the collar has cracks and stuff in it, it caused an explosion. I ended up in the mortal plane about a year ago.
Did you say a year ago?
About a year ago, correct, yes. Give or take a month or two.
How long has that tower been active? They look to you, Nilo.
They
Wait, straight up just me?
Oh, sorry, not Nilo. Wait a second. They look to you, Shade. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm so used to seeing the token.
No, I get it. You accidentally made me overtime.
Yeah, there we go. That's a little bit better. They say,
that threw me off too.
I know, I'm like, okay. So they say, Shade, do you know how long that tower has been active for?
Not really. I've been told by my compatriots. I've only been here for 3 days. My compatriot told me that they showed up here at least 2 weeks ago and the tower was powered then.
They kind of look to you and say, we may need use of that collar, but in its broken state, I don't know if it can do what it did all those years ago. Yeah, we don't have a big old dragon to actually help us this time. This creature's not even large. You see the small kobold, clearly upset with your medium size.
Wow. Are you referring to my father? And also, what did this collar do 500 years ago?
They kind of look over at everyone here. Well, and you kind of see blood speak up a little bit. Well, with the the tower was active, and they wanted to use the tower to resurrect their dark god, and the tower had this, and they kind of like gesture with their hands a little bit, like in front of them. It doesn't really seem to actually be making any actual gestures. It seems to be just kind of just moving their hands as if they're trying to like stall for time. The tower was full of the energy from, well, Valcora, and she was working with us to stop the war efforts. But we know that she was being, well, and they kind of like, you mention it, as she seems to not being able to get words. And you see the Magi kind of give a small sigh. The dragon died protecting the tower. With Valcora and the dragon, all we know is the adventurers went into that tower to try to stop the energy and try to take it for themselves. And something happened inside that tower, and all we know is the dragon that was protecting it vanished along with Valcora. and the tower's energy was no more. Without the tower's energy, well, they no longer had a purpose in their army. So we were able to rout them through enough bloodshed and enough time, though a lot slower than what I would have wanted. They able to beat them back. With them losing the purpose of the tower, they were trying to find all the ways they could to resurrect it, but they could never find something as strong as the tower. And we know for some reason that tower is connected to that collar. Ah, the big old dragon came by. I've heard stories among the kobold tribes. We tell it constantly. It's one of the favorite stories of our, well, kingdom. As, well, we have our own dragons that mention the tale. The dragon and Belcor both vanished that day, and so did the tower's energy. So we thought it was just not going to be an issue again. But then, I guess the tower's relit, and that explains why they've been doing what they have been with the war. Now they're probably trying to get to the tower once again, and using everything else as a distraction. Which is why we need to go to them directly, and kill whatever godforsaken king is at the head of this. And you see him slam down his, fist on the table.
Okay. So my father and Belcora were able to stop them from getting into the godlights. But do you have any idea what the collar actually does?
He kind of, he looks to the guy and says, well, back whenever it was not, and he kind of, gestures almost strugglingly to you, broken, it was able to power the tower and actually enhance its abilities. It was a catalyst of sorts that Belcor used alongside the dragon. It acted as a gateway to the Shadow Realm from the tower, so that the soul energy could, well, power the tower, as soul energy is not exactly the most easiest to come by.
So the power of my father and the collar were able to activate a portal directly to the soul energy of the Shadow Realm. That's what you're telling me it's able to do.
Yes, she was using the tower to find out more things and to actually help us against, well, the Dark God. We thought we could harness the power that was building up in the tower to defeat him, but in turn, no one got to benefit from the tower as everything vanished. And now it's relit. And we don't have Belcor, we don't have the dragon, and all we have is a broken collar.
I'm here. I'm the dragon. I have the collar. There must be a way to fix it of some sort. If we're able to produce the same thing that happened last time, able to shut down the tower or somehow shut down the tower so they can't get to the energy, that seems like what must be done. No energy, no possible way of them raising their dark god.
They look to you and Terry says, all we know is those adventurers broke to that tower, and they walked out of there alive, and Belcor and the dragon were gone. So whatever the hell happened in that tower was strong enough to have both of those vanish, not even to be seen. No corpses, no bodies, no even stories to tell. They vanished, and took the energy with them. Are you willing to have your entire life just vanished in the blink of an eye? To have that collar fixed?
The collar fixed, and to stop Dark God. Who, pray tell, is this Dark God? You'd only say Dark God, but you've not given me names, stories, legends of what creature or deity this is.
You kind of see him almost like he just is very visibly upset at this, as he just brings up to you and says, this dark god is not even worthy of a name. He is the necrotic energy of nothing more than fire and evil. He is the one known to have entire cities burned. His whole legend revolves around him trying to consume the sun just so that he can be the only hottest soul energy and necrotic energy in the lands. And he was going to burn the whole lands with fire and build it anew. And now they're trying to resurrect him. and they just say the name Ra. We call him Dark God in mocking tone, because all he wants to attain is the fire of the sun itself. And with the fire of the sun, he'll be able to control all life, as all life is revolving around water and the other elements as well. He wants to abuse and control it. He is one of the deities of the fire realm, and he was put out long, long ago, which is why he's referred to as the Dark God. And now, some, and he just like pounds his hand on the table again. Some idiot in Absalom thinks they can resurrect him.
So, we need to stop them from raising their Dark God, otherwise they will destroy the continent if not more. Is there any information, any help that you can give us so we can stop them from getting to the God's light?
There's, and they kind of mention, they look around each other, there is, well, you could always talk to that creepy worm guy. He was working hand in hand with Belcor to protect the tower. Clearly didn't do a good enough job. I think his name was like Joffrey or something. Creepy little looking
Jafiki?
worm dude. Yeah, that's it.
Jafiki? Luckily we got him back then.
Yeah, he was all kinds of making defenses.
Right now he is injured, but he's still at the tower. I will be able to I will communicate him after this meeting then.
You kind of see, the Magi look over to you, Shay, and say, "You need whatever it takes. I don't know how much you've explored of that tower, but we need to get to that center of that tower so we can actually control that soul energy before the enemy does. If they get that energy, they will resurrect the Dark God. And they've already advanced, and you kind of see them point towards Emmenwood. They've already advanced into the woods. I've heard they've burned entire towns of Leshies there. I've heard they've already been burning up the forest, trying to make way for their Dark God as some sort of ritualistic pleasure to the Dark God, thinking the more fire they produce, the more he is pleased."
I have a question. How did you know about Jafiki and that there would be the person we wanted to talk to?
You kind of see the little kobold speak up. "Well, easy. He was with us during the war. He was helping Belcor with all of the tower stuff and all the tower defense stuff. We were trying to go over to, well, the very city where he was and try to destroy all the cultists, and, well, Belcor and the dragon were responsible for taking care of the tower."
Do you know any information about my father? Anything else that he left behind?
He kind of he points to your collar. "Well, he left that thing, but you managed to break it in the process."
I meant anything else. Obviously not just the collar. He says
And
glaringly.
you see Blood speak up. "It was, wow, he vanished, so any treasures that he had on him must have been left in the Shadow Realm. And I'm sure his hoard was very valuable, with tons of trinkets that he could, do trinket stuff with, and
So
I'm
nothing
sure
that was
all of those are still there."
So nothing that was left behind here then.
"You'd have to, well, ask Belcor if you could, but she vanished with the dragon."
The same person that vanished with my father. No. I do wonder. When he vanished, was the collar still with him or no?
No, actually. The collar, I think, must have been clearly sent back to the Shadow Realm before he vanished. I don't know how they got it off of him. To my knowledge, if they take off the collar, you kind of die, as he gestures over to your broken collar. So whatever happened, he was gone, the collar was not on him, and the collar was somehow back in the Shadow Realm where you had it, and Belcor and the Shadow Dragon were both missing.
There's not a trace of any information about them for over 500 years of any whereabouts, and nothing left behind at all.
You don't think us kobolds will try to find a dark dragon that tried to help us during a war? We've been searching high and tail for all that stuff. My claws have been digging in every single site that could possibly be dog-touched. We haven't found anything. They've been missing for 500 years, and us kobolds have been looking for them.
Hmm.
You see a little bit of just, you really do see like the necrotic kind of energy coming off of him. He has clearly been to some sites of some severe necrotic energy to be in search of this dragon that he mentions. He has been permanently afflicted and affected by this.
By the Shadow Realm, I'm assuming. Taps his claws on the table.
With
Is there anything
that-
else? I was gonna ask, is there anything else I should know? We call this meeting to a close.
Yes. Whatever you need to know is I need you to get to that tower and to do whatever the hell that collar does again. Because we don't want that tower activating again. We want to be able to use that tower to get enough energy to actually stop all of this. We should expand and overcome, not be slaves to this tower and this collar once again.
Then
And you kind of see he kind of like turns away from the table. There's nothing more to discuss. The others will get suspicious the longer we're here. We can only keep them entertained for so long. Shade, you're free to go.
let me step out for just a moment, catch some fresh air while I overthink what I've been told. I'll see you.
Yeah.
He goes
Everyone,
and-
you see the small kobold usher everyone back in, and they seem to file back into the meeting room.
He's gonna
You
shut
see-
the door here
Yep.
and here. He's
And
gonna be-
you see Yen looking at the clock more and more as the night begins to fall. We should, and as they're kind of looking at their watch, we should get back to the tavern soon. If you'd like, I may excuse myself from the meeting, Ophelia, if you would like to excuse yourself as well.
Yes, I suppose I will. I don't see any reason for me to be there anyways.
They will begin to, I will put you back in the tavern with them in a bit.
Yeah.
And, Nilo and Shadow. Nilo and, Shade.
Man,
Close
you can't
enough.
remember my character's name. Okay,
Pathetic.
Nilo, please. As he taps on the chair next to him, sit, talk with me.
Sorry, I didn't have time to.
I know you're gonna have time to discuss with me. It's fine. So,
Do it now.
what do you think after all we've been told? Because it seems to me, my father, Belcora, stop that dark god from coming into our realm again. Though it seems like this collar, even though it drains the air of their energy, can open up a portal to the shadow realm, into the heart of the necrotic plane, and take true soul energy.
The thing
No.
is, what they're asking of you, how they word it,
Is death. Or
very much so.
probably death. Though, one thing confuses me is that my father did not have the collar on him when he disappeared. You're ripping
So
off
it
the
might not
collar,
be death, but
so it might not be death. I don't know if he had the collar on him when whatever he did disappeared him, or he had to take the collar off to enact what he did. I just know it seems like I need to use the collar as a catalyst to stop whatever is happening. Though I don't know if that's the only option I have with the collar. I know the goal should be stopping whatever stopping the dark god. Can you repost the name, please, in the chat?
Which
Ra.
one?
The name of dark
it's-
god.
It's Ra.
Just Ra. Just Ra. Okay.
Ra himself. Ra.
Just
Ra.
Ra himself. Okay. Coming into our realm. I would not to die. Or if there's any other solution, I would like to see if that's an option. it doesn't seem like there's anything left of my father. I hope there would be at least something else than just the
That's thing,
collar.
though. If your father and Belcora both ended up disappearing at the same time, Belcora is obviously back, though at this point we don't even know if it's Ophelia or...
Yes, we don't know if
Honestly,
it's Ophelia or not. We don't know, there's
But-
still the possibility that my father could be back in some way as well then.
Logically, he might be. I can't guarantee it, but
So far.
if Belcora's magic is back, which means Belcora's back,
It would go to
your
it would
dad
go
is
to
somewhere, unless he actually did die.
I
But
don't. Problem is they
the
didn't tell me
collar went
what
back.
the collar went back, which is the thing. The collar, as far as my mother has told me, has been there for centuries. It got back to our hoard. Only thing I don't understand is I did nothing. Why is there nothing else? And if it's a similar situation to Ophelia, where she's back and could be Belcora, but doesn't remember anything. I remember much of the past. It's my father in the same situation. I do not know much to make of it. I don't know if there's a way to fix the collar. It's for all we know if I tried doing the same thing that my father did. Even if he had the collar on, or they used the collar as a catalyst, it being broken might fix it, or might cause the same thing to happen that got me into this plane. For all I know, they're not being fully truthful with us, or fully telling us the whole story of what happened.
Yeah. Why
No
would
trace-
they?
Why would they, of course, yes. No traces of anything happening for 500 years seems quite odd. There's no writings, there's no information, no books, no notes, no talk amongst themselves, no stories to be passed about either Belcor or my father that they have told us. Seems very,
Sure, there's
very odd.
something,
But they're not,
but I
they
also
didn't tell
believe
us.
they haven't found it. But I know there has to be something.
Has to
They
be
just aren't
something.
looking in the right places.
But 500 years searching. And it seems like that kobold leader went to the shadow realm as he was clearly tainted by its energy. Maybe there's something left, whatever is left of my family's hoard. There might be something in there left of my
Wanna know what
father.
I bet it is?
What do you bet it is, Nila?
None of them searched the gauntlet.
None of them searched the gauntlet itself.
I don't think they would.
What?
And if anything, I don't think they could get past Jafiki. Because
Jafiki?
Jafiki is made to protect it. So
Mhm.
if anything, we might find information on the 10th floor for all we know.
Probably not. Do we know anything of what the gauntlet looks like besides it's just a mass of energy?
A lighthouse? I don't know.
Also,
It's a lighthouse.
it's the lighthouse itself. Okay.
Yeah, it's the lighthouse itself.
Also,
Like-
the way he asked about why why the light would be back on and everything. It hasn't been on for a very long time. I am very much curious what triggered the light to turn back on. I have ideas, but no hard truth.
I
And
want to talk to the others, but I know we shouldn't. Not yet.
Let's just keep this between ourselves for now. And then see what else we can learn, and then go from there. Then, when it comes time, tell the others.
and that just means we are going back to the tavern, as the rest of the meeting is mostly a bore of them talking politics. Who should do what when they win? Who should, what should they advance? Mostly talking about like advancing onto Absalom, as well as whether you should go to Absalom, whether you should fortify here. Now with the Leshy and the other generals in the room, they seem to be talking much more war strategy than they were actually talking before, as if they were almost not even mentioning anything about the gauntlet whatsoever in mentioning of the defense of Otari as well as advancing. It's almost as if with all the other generals, it almost seems like it's nothing more than just a puppet court of sorts, as they don't seem to be talking about anything of insignificant or anything of significance compared to what you were told before. And that brings us back to the tavern, where I'm assuming Teriel and everyone else would be.
Apparently, yes.
Unless Teriel likes to sleep in the library.
Teriel is returning to the tavern. Is there a bath?
Many so.
Is it yes or no?
Yes.
Alright. Teriel's just gonna go and get change of clothing here. How many hours was it, by the way?
It is about 10 p.m. now.
Okay, so Teriel's halfway tree.
And, Farah, you see the rest of the gang kind of walk in a little bit, one at a time, after what various Teriel and V came together. Nilo and Shade came together. Ophelia and Yin came a little bit before everyone else showed up. You see Yin and Ophelia walking together. You'd imagine that they're going to be going into their office soon, as Ophelia
has like a half-finished wine glass next to her.
Sarah, have you been drinking?
No. Maybe. I blame the dwarves.
As plant! I've never seen a plant soak up that much water at one time.
It's only like... What were we talking about? No, I'm only on... Looks over at the dwarves. Did I just do a whole bottle or two? And she's like got her hands on her head at this point and like leaning against the bar.
My dear, you poured the bottle all over the floor and lapped it up with your feet as if you were having vines into the roots of the earth itself. That was the biggest sight I've ever seen.
That's what I did. I paid for all of it. Looking at Ian, just like, I paid for all of it.
Yes, my aged barrels of liquor have always been a fan amongst the dwarves.
Oh, they drank me under this table. And she just slumps off the stool at this point.
Ophelia comes behind the bar and picks Farah up.
She
like a cat.
And she's like curls into you a little bit.
Oh. And she turns to you and says, I'm going to help Farah to bed real quick, and then I will come see you.
I will be in my office, my dear.
She nods and starts taking Farah towards our room.
Yeah. What are you doing, V?
Why did I go over here?
Oh god, I have vision back. Nice. I mean, what would I be doing? Stop it, King.
You see the blacksmith dwarf here drinking.
I will be ignoring him. I mean, I would just be standing watch after the assassination attempts that have hit us here. Keeping an ever watchful eye, making sure too that Farah's okay while they're drinking, although I know they just ended.
You see a very drunk Farah being carried off by Ophelia over to the room. Do you go and watch over Farah in the room, or do you stay in the tavern?
It depends on if Ophelia comes out or not.
I want to do one thing with Ophelia before we close the Farah Ophelia thing, but yes.
Go ahead.
As you kind of like set Farah into the bed, she kind of looks up at Ophelia. She goes, Hey, you're really pretty. Also, um, Belcora has to reset the tower every night at midnight. That's why she needs to get there. So don't take too long, because if she doesn't reset the tower, the whole world could explode.
Ophelia kind of blinks, taken aback a little bit by this information.
Is that a
Like-
trash can?
You see a bunch of flowers bloom out from the trash bucket.
Ah.
Because she's
There-
dead.
Farah, lay down. I'll be back.
She's like curling around the like trash can at this point, laying down.
Ophelia's a little too distracted to pick her up and put her on the bed right now. She's gonna hurry back out.
And V, you see Ophelia head out of the tower. Out of the room. She is technically out of the tower at this moment, but yes, she's you see, I will say, Ophelia, you seem to be spotting Teriel going to the room.
I'd be heading in to make sure
Yeah.
that Farrah's
I'm gonna-
okay.
Excuse
I'm
me.
gonna grab Tyrael. I'm gonna pull him into this room real quick.
Oh?
You've been
Huh?
pulled.
I have been pulled into the room and wait for V to pass by before I turn to Tyrael and say,
I see you
Okay.
telling me.
"Listen, okay, this is going to sound crazy.
How was the meetings?
Yin is Belcora.
I tell one person.
I figured.
I'm sorry, what?
I had suspicion.
You had suspicion.
I wasn't very sure.
Right. Well, I'm going to go try to confront her about it now.
You do realize that you are also possibly Belcora also, right?
How could there be two Belcoras, though?
Your soul could be split into many different fragments. It
I
could
see.
be a part of you, maybe. I just do say, be careful of which part of Belcora Ian may be.
Okay. I'm gonna go talk to her now.
Do you want me to be with you?
I don't think she'll speak unless we're alone.
If you do not return to the room in 10 minutes, I will come for you.
Thank you. I'm just gonna slip out of the room, start heading towards Yin's office.
Yeah, but here to the north a little bit.
I can't like slip through.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
You have to knock first, that's why.
Okay, well I'm gonna knock on her door.
She approaches the door and opens it. Oh yes, Ophelia, did you have something you wish to speak about?
Yes,
Come
can
in,
I
come in. Yes, come in. She closes the door. She still seems to be kind of looking at her watch a little bit, but feeling a lot more comfortable with where she is. What is it you wish to speak with me about?
How do I say this? I know who you really are.
He gives a soft smile. Was it the little one?
Yes.
She always had that feisty spirit about her. Yes. Well, do you know who you are?
No, that's why I wanted to talk to you about this. Surely you must have some answers Why am I so connected to your tower?
She, you see her looking almost. You almost see her, and you almost see a little bit of like tears kind of well up in her face a little bit, as some of her composure almost begins to break a little bit. Because, well, that isn't actually my tower. It's actually yours. And like you see like a single tear kind of go down her eye. Here, please sit. And she kind of, you see as you she offers you a seat there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to ask you to not tell anyone what you're about to see.
All right.
You will see her, she will kind of grab one of these tables and kind of leans it up, and you will see what looks to be a trapdoor underneath the table. It's okay. The little one has already been through here. I just need to, well, I need to take you to, well, my tower.
Okay.
And she asks you to, now she kind of gestures for you to stand up and follow her.
I will stand up and follow her.
You climb down what looks to be a ladder of sorts, and it's just a small little storage room that seems to be the bottom of the tavern. You see various aged barrels of wine and liquor across the area here. It seems to be almost as a personal stash of the innkeeper herself. And you see her go over to one of the walls at almost just, it seems to be almost just a random wall in the corner. And you see her beginning to do some sort of writing along the wall. And as she does, you see a portal begin to appear. She says, I didn't want to let you know until you had some more memories back, as I didn't want it to be too damaging to your psyche. But if you're ready to learn more about who you are, I think I might know. And she offers her hand.
She's gonna hesitate for just a moment before taking her hand.
And you both will step through that floor. Terrio, it has been more than 10 minutes and it is close to midnight.
Terrio is gonna open his prowess, and he is actually gonna try to open the door here.
You open the door and it is locked.
Terrio's gonna go ahead and take out his lockpicks and try to unlock it.
I'll say with enough time you can. You go inside the room, and no one seems to be there, and everything seems to be just a normal room.
Terrio's gonna go ahead and try to discern if there's any magic in the room. Maybe illusions using detect magic.
There doesn't seem to be any magic within 30 feet of where you are right now.
There's nothing that is hidden or... Well, Terrio's gonna search meticulously throughout the room.
Okay. With enough time, you would have found the hatch door.
And gonna go ahead and descend and see what's down here.
You climb down, and as you climb down, you see nothing more than an empty room. Ophelia, would you like to do this in a separate call, or would you like to do this here?
I don't know. I'll
be
leave it up
either.
to you. I think is best thematically.
I think enough. I think there's been a lot of people talking about their secrets openly. If you would like to, you can be here with everyone.
All right.
You step through the portal, and let me go ahead and make sure everyone's on the right scene. You see what looks to be a version of the tower that seems to be almost perfectly intact, as if the marbles themselves, what was once what you would expect to be a rusted 500-year-old tower, seems to be almost as if it was built no more than just a few decades ago at best. The floor itself seems to be pretty clean. The tiles around seem to be well dusted. And in the room, you find yourself in the same room. All of those times you've had those dreams of someone or something coming through and assaulting whatever is happening in that room. You see 4 different circles of pools of what looks to be green liquid in each of the 4 corners of the room, and then all of it seems to be draining towards the middle, as a huge amount of soul energy seems to be radiating from the central pillar, where there seems to be nothing more than just a altar of some sort.
I
You
cannot
find
see
you-
anything.
I know, I'm still loading the room while I'm describing it. I don't see anything. I guarantee you it's gonna be raining. It is
Oh, I
raining.
bet it is.
It is raining. The
Fucking raining.
update made every single map automatically raining, and it makes the map lag loading in.
That's funny. That's funny.
Let me go ahead and get the rain effects off. And you also won't have vision until I actually get your tokens. Give me just 1 second. Yes, I can finally turn off those effects. It does take a little bit second to load because of the rain is so heavy. But yes, you walk into this room, and it seems to be the room from those dreams that you've been having for so long. And it seems to be slightly different, but like the tower you had yourself. And let me actually get you both on the vision map here. Okay. Do you see what's there on the map?
Yep.
You see this room, the one that is so familiar to you. As Yin looks to you, and you also see what looks to be a little soul buddy. Some sort of a spirit that seems to be roaming around. And the spirit seems to be very excited, as they are not used to having visitors. And they say, "Oh, Okora, who did you bring to the tower? I don't usually see you bring anyone." And they seem to be almost going around you. I don't know where the spirit went. There you go. Imagine it looks like this. Ignore the name. You see like a little wispy thing. And you see Yin bring you through and say, "This is my tower. It's a little bit, well, how can I explain it? This tower is going to be raided by a group of adventurers very soon. And I am going to, well, I would anyways, die in the process of defending this tower. However, all of those, well, do you remember the day we shook hands and you saw a vision?"
Yes. It was of Otari being built.
"Yes, and when I grasped your hand, I also had a vision of you coming to that shore so many, well, I guess it'd be no more than a year ago, and I saw the looks of those elderly couple that took care of you. And it made me happy a little bit. But after that I did see," and she kind of points to this. "This is the tower, well, in a different timeline. The tower, I used all of the tower's energy to, well," and she kind of almost see like tears running down her face. "I ran away. I ran away to another timeline where I didn't fail. Because in this timeline I did fail, and I keep failing every single day. And I have this tower here, and I keep having to reset this tower every single day to the year before they came, and the time speeds up further and further. And I'm not strong enough to actually stop this tower from being destroyed in this timeline. So I've been living out the world in your timeline, trying to build up adventurers to maybe hopefully one day get a tower and hopefully see the tower resurrected once again. So maybe with the combined energy of both towers, I could stop my tower from being destroyed. And that's why I needed people to go down there to the 10th floor. Because if without it, this timeline is doomed. I saw visions of the Dark God rising after I failed to protect the tower. I've been running ever since. And she looks to you. And I know you too also ran. I saw a vision of before what happened. You were you were in this tower as well. But you used all of the energy to the tower to, I guess, take yourself out of the timeline. And something caused you... How long have you been in the world you've been in?
A year, maybe?
Something must have happened a year ago to, well, jumpstart you back to the timeline. I don't know what could have had such powerful soul energy, but something triggered, something happened, and it put you back in the timeline and restarted the tower. And while you've been away for 500 years, you're back. And she kind of like grasps your paws, or your hands, and like she holds them in her own as you see like the tears coming down. Maybe, I hope you're not too overwhelmed, but maybe together we can actually save both timelines. And you see the wisp kind of going around. You kind of see this is Stellara. My parents died when I was young trying to fight the war. And I transferred their soul energy into this. And I was only able to save my mother as my father perished. And you see her holding this, almost as if she can hold this wisp, as it seems to be comforting her.
Wait, just like I... And then she reaches into her sleeve and pulls out her father.
I see. I guess you didn't get it any easier than I did you?
I suppose not. I watched my mother die. I guess it was during the war as well? I don't know. But I managed to transfer my father into this little wooden construct with the soul gem. And he's been protecting the tower ever since.
It seems like we all two sides. I guess all timelines have, well, travesty in them. But she kind of like goes back to holding your hands as your father kind of jumps up on your shoulder. Maybe we can work together to find a way to right both of our wrongs. You ran 500 years in the future and I ran to your timeline. I know I have no reason to ask you of it, but I have to stay here every single night because I have to reset this tower back to the start, or else the tower's energy will be taken by the Dark Lord of my realm. So I can only be out, I have to return here every night at midnight. Please, Ophelia, or I'm not sure what you are in your own timeline. You get to choose that name. You can, if you like, I can call you Ophelia as well, if that's what makes you more comfortable.
Yes, I think that's what I prefer.
Ophelia, I ask you that I am not strong enough to go to that tower myself and take out whatever is taken over that tower. I have tried during the years and the centuries to send people in there, and something, whatever's in that tower seems to just take residence. Monsters, creatures, I don't know. I always have to be back at my inn every single time at midnight. I ask you, please, when you get to the 10th floor, please let me be there. And we can find a way to use both of the tower's energy to maybe repair the damage that both of us, well, at least I know I failed. Maybe we can finally put to rest the Dark God, once and for all.
I think I would like that.
She seems like she is, like, she wants to embrace you, but she seems to be having, like, she likes to kind of, like, pause at your hands a little bit, like, just trying to decide whether she wants to, like, embrace you, but she seems to be too overwhelmed with emotions as well at the moment. As she has spent the
Ophelia is
past...
going to embrace her.
It's been 500 years being out of my own timeline. I haven't gone to see anyone at all ever because every single midnight I have to watch all of them die just so I can run away. It's maddening. But at least I have something stable. I have you, Ophelia. Thank you. Thank you.
It's okay. We'll get through this.
You start to hear some banging on the doors outside as you just hear some hardy adventurers outside the door saying, Delcora, it's time to see the Dark God rise once again. I know you're in there. Open the door, we're gonna bust it down. And you see with a quick gesture of her hands, she lights up the portal once again. She says, don't worry, I'll be on the other side. Please go. I guarantee we'll see it once again.
She's gonna look back at her and then pull Mr. Beaks into her arms and nod and then jump back through the portal.
And as you enter the portal, you see... Terry, are you still there?
Yes.
You see what looks to be a portal not out of against the wall, but almost out of thin air, as you just see what seems to be materializing out of almost nowhere. A figure of Yin that seems to arrive exactly at midnight, as Ophelia walks through a portal against one of the walls. And both of them now seem to be standing there in this storage room, each staring at you and staring at each other, as you just see Yin fall to the ground and just start to weep a bit.
Ophelia is going to hurry over to Yin and wrap her arms around her and just whisper comfort to her.
Another day. Just another day. Another year of failure. She embraces you again.
Did I miss something?
You missed a lot, actually. And
Wow.
she's... It's...
You can inform me later. It seems that you need some time.
Thank you.
Stereo will just exit out of the hatch to let them be for some time.
You kind of see, as you kind of hold her, Ophelia, you just have, like, a vague sense of a memory of those three adventurers also breaking down as you're holding, you just kind of have this vision wash over you. And it finally is there. The nightmare or the dream that you've been having of being in that room seems to be a lot more clear as midnight strikes, and you see what looks to be three adventurers popping down the door to that room you were in. And you were standing there, holding some sort of artifact in your hand. And as you it's almost like a play before you, looking out and watching this battle ensue. And right before they strike you down, you just see a massive burst of energy released from both the artifact and you at the same time. And everything goes dark for a moment before coming back to your senses. You remember the night that you left the tower and took the tower's energy with you.
What did the artifact look like exactly?
It looked like a collar.
Okay.
With that,
I guess...
go ahead.
Oh, no. No, go ahead. I was trying to think of what I would do next, but if you're going to move to the next scene, go ahead.
Yeah. You're gonna comfort Yin for a while. Or, as you now know, Delcora. Terrio, you see Nilo getting drunk at the tavern with Shade doing whatever Shade's doing. V's in the room protecting Farah.
You two, take a bath now.
Why?
You stink
Yeah.
of booze, sweat, and blood.
I always smell like blood.
Pretty.
There is
Yeah,
two
that's
hot
what I know.
baths upstairs, prepared. They might be still
Fine.
warm now. Now just go in there and
Mm-hmm.
clean up.
Mm.
It's just-
Fine.
But... Yeah.
And,
Come on, Nilo. It's been
I
a
was-
long day. Let's hit this.
Yeah, these blood stains don't look great on white.
It's like they just realize that they're just like clothing is covered in like their own blood. And
No,
I'm
Nilo
sorry.
specifically is talking about whenever he was like drinking blood. It was on his paws,
You are-
specifically his hand paws, which
And,
have white on them, and his muzzle,
Shit.
which is full white.
I will
Shade is-
say we're going to have a small 10-minute break. I know it's also kind of midnight, but we're just gonna see how everyone. I'm just gonna do a 10-minute. Just gonna do a quick check-in with everyone.
Okay.
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 Y'all.
Let's just do this setup.
How's
Wait.
everyone feeling?
Out of obviously character. I mean, getting answers that I sort of figured, but not 100% sure on.
Yeah.
And now me questioning the end goal at this point.
Flashing the end goal.
I mean, I'm just getting answers to what I already kind of knew had happened.
Yeah.
Like that was stuff that like had happened to Farrah a while ago. Also, as Saber knows, I had a little alcohol tonight, and it was a lot more than I thought it was.
It wasn't
I'm
even
enjoying
role
it.
playing.
Yeah, no, that's why Farrah
It
got.
wasn't.
There's a
Mm.
reason Farrah got tipsy was because I was tipsy at this point.
Yeah.
Like I'm on my couch at the moment. Thank God for wireless headphones.
You can just chill.
fine.
You can just chill and call if you want. I won't call in if you
I
want. Just
really
chill.
want to do. I really want to have like a funny, like drunk heart to heart with V though.
If you want to do that, we
That would
can.
be sweet though.
Yeah. Or if anybody else wants to have like, because that's the thing is like Farrah is now in like a really weird state where like she is intoxicated. So like I'll role play it out as like,
Yeah.
because I'm fine, but I think it'd be very funny if it was like, haha. What haven't you been telling us, Farrah? Because like,
I do
she's
wanna-
been lying a lot.
I do want to check in. How are you feeling, Ellie?
You good? You bad?
It kind of threw me for a
Interesting
loop with the
information.
fact with the fact I'm just imagining the Squidward, the SpongeBob meme where it's like, "You're Belcora,
Yeah.
and you're Belcora. Are there any other Belcoras I should be thinking
That's what I
about?"
I actually posted that in the I actually posted that meme in the chat. Yeah, so timelines are kind of funny, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a little confusing. So what I'm understanding is they're both Belcora,
Yep.
but from different timelines.
Yep.
Wait. Are we
This is
Basically-
your timeline.
basically-
are we recreating BioShock 3?
I have not played BioShock 3, sadly.
This is
Yes.
basically BioShock 3.
This is
It's literally multiple of a person all going to lighthouses.
well, it actually is literally BioShock 3 storyline.
I actually don't know. I've never played BioShock 3, but I will say, Ali, just for a metagame, TLDR, she basically both of you ran away from basically not being able to defend the tower, except she ran away to your timeline and you ran away from basically your own timeline to the future. You ran to the future and she ran to you, and you both ended up in the same one.
And they
Okay.
used what I'm assuming is my collar to do it.
And the year was 2020.
So what Farah actually saw was the original thing. So none of y'all have actually been to the 10th floor yet. None of you have actually been to the 10th floor yet, but that was what you saw, Owly, was the 10th floor of it.
Okay.
And that was the
So-
soul and heart of the tower.
So I made the tower. Why did I make the tower in the first place?
You were still finding that out, but as far as you know, you made the tower to actually stop the war. But you weren't in that meeting. Only Shade was, and technically Nilo.
Mhm.
Like I was a stowaway.
But see,
Nilo
they don't-
behind my wing.
Like I said, they don't know anything about you specifically.
It's like Nilo still believes that there's a chance of you being Belcora, but at the same
Yep.
time, he just doesn't know what the fuck to think.
Yeah,
Because
he
it's
also,
like nothing has guaranteed that for him yet.
I will say, the party, the 3 people that actually entered that tower, Otari was part of it.
I see. So
Wait, didn't Atari not get past the 4th floor though?
Yes, he was a rogue that died on the 4th floor.
Then how did?
Our new villains are time travelers. Let's go from a multiverse, the Zerniverse.
the Zerdiverse.
Obviously, what we need to do is go through all the timelines, collect every Belcora.
The thing though, we could end up with one that built it to also bring Raw. So that's already a bad idea.
And
But yeah.
Farrah could be Belcora too, saying that she got revived by her.
I mean, we
Who knows?
just keep going through different timelines where there's different Belcoras. Just keep going until we have enough energy just to
Oh god, it's an
close
evil
out the whole loop.
Belcora.
So now-
Isn't
now-
this one normally evil.
You-
Well, this one is sided with them.
I am going to go make a sandwich
Yeah.
real fast. So I will
Yeah,
be
like-
back.
You let me have control of your backstory, Owly, and I'm like, you're the final person.
Before I also go, never let him choose your shit. This always happens.
Yeah, that is true.
No, but I love it. I love it so much. I love it.
It's it's great, but it's just shit. For example, with Brio, it's yeah, take the Shadowfell seriously.
Seriously.
Almost kills all of us. Yeah.
Hey, I'm the one that got. Hey, in my defense, he did a good job.
To be fair, the lesson is don't run from your problems and let others help you, or else you have to suffer the consequences. That's the lesson of the campaign. Don't
Yeah.
run from your problems.
So what happened to my father, Owly, since he was there with me? I know you
They
probably
haven't gotten all their memories back.
you haven't gotten that. You want to unlock that part of your DLC.
I
It's
feel like
in,
he's gonna immediately want to talk to Teriel about this, though. By the way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Teriel just decided to snoop and went down and just found an empty room and the 2 teleporting just people showing up in their room.
Yeah.
Wasn't gonna snoop. I did say I was gonna be there in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was 100%. I will say,
Celia will remember that you kept your promise, Teriel.
you're just sitting. You just go down to like. You just have like what's that meme where he has like the code over his arm and he's just like looking around.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
I think
Oh my
it is.
God.
I think it is Keanu Reeves or something, and he has
No,
his
it's
code.
not Keanu Reeves. It's like Saul Goodman or something.
Yeah,
or
and
some other
and
weird guy.
he just kind of like has his palm open, like where?
He's just looking around like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Are you
so
talking
it's
about not Keanu Reeves? And was this song? No way, it was. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I guarantee if
No.
I just type in "looking around," it'll come up.
Are you talking about the guy from Face Off?
I think
When
so.
he's got
Yeah,
the code on his
Yeah.
arm?
yeah. It's kind of like that. You just kind of go down.
John
Yeah, here we go.
Travolta.
I found
John
it.
Travolta.
It's
John
this guy.
Travolta.
I don't know.
It's just Terry just goes down there and just nothing but just a bunch of H barrels.
Well, it doesn't look like there was what's it called? Any sign of a struggle. And Terriel's just like, all right, well, it's either up or down, or somehow sideways.
Yeah.
So just to
So
make sure I have
go
the
ahead.
lore like figured
Ow.
out. So
Ow.
Go ahead.
are you okay, Fox?
No, King's a cunt.
Yeah.
Ow. He needs
Okay.
to get his claws trimmed, and he's got him in my beard. Get out.
Go ahead, Ophi. Go ahead, Allie.
So from what I understand, they're both Belcora. They both built the tower to stop the war, and they both ran away through timey-wimey stuff.
Yep.
And now I have to go back to my tower to get to the 10th floor and destroy whatever is controlling the tower so I can take back the tower.
You are unsure of what is happening or why the tower relit itself. You are unsure of why the tower relit itself. But whatever happened a year ago caused you basically to rejoin the timeline.
Oh.
I wonder what caused that.
What happened 1 year ago exactly? Well, man.
I understand.
Yeah, I figured as soon as you were asked about time, I was like, and then you brought up the tower turning back on. I'm like, I understand now.
Maybe it's because they both came back.
Someone still needs to explain to it in game tutorial because it's like
Yeah,
still not
yeah.
informed.
I'm
Well,
sorry,
I
Ter-
mean,
Ter-
All of us need to talk about the information that Shay and me got.
I think we
and
need.
what Ophelia got. But me and Shade both already agreed to keep it to ourselves for a minute.
I think we need to have a nice conversation where we all just lay it out eventually.
But we're
I-
not
how-
gonna do
And
that,
I've
are we?
been
Yeah,
saying
I know.
that since the beginning, and then all of a sudden everyone kept keeping secrets.
And now
What's
Neela's
gonna
keeping
happen?
secrets.
Yep. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna do the 10th floor,
Only because
all with
Shade
different
asked.
goals.
I would like to say just to Brio and Zed, I'd like to remind you there is an option where you lose everything. I hope
I know,
you know
there's-
what that means now.
Oh.
But does that also mean that what I thought was still a thing?
No, actually.
Oh my god, it's changed?
No, it wasn't changed. It was this reset of sort.
Okay.
Hmm.
But it
No,
was
if we
what you
lose-
Not
both...
exactly what I thought. Okay.
No,
So-
it was close.
So I'm assuming that my father is probably also in the future, somewhere.
Somewhere, they haven't shown... They haven't made themselves known yet, but a powerful dragon of that size and caliber wouldn't exactly want to be known to the world that fast.
It's probably gonna get around that there's a umbral dragon that looks similar to that looks actually no, he probably looks
I like to
looks
imagine that he's like the size of a mountain, but his stealth is so high no one sees him.
Hey,
Stealth
when did that-
100.
Mountain.
when did that
Skyrim level up sound is just stealth 100.
it's like
What's that
Isn't that-
noise? Proceeds to grabs them and just like gets mugged a second later.
hey, that mountain wasn't there a year ago, was it?
No.
No,
None
it's always
says
been there. Remember, kid.
I've
That's
always
why
been
you
here.
can't keep the girl boss.
The mountain. I've always been here. Well, I guess the mountain know more than us.
But
Remember, kid.
yeah, we can if you want, we can also continue on and have we can actually have some heart to hearts in here. As Terrio
Remember-
decided to barge in the room, or Terrio's not in the room yet.
Remember, guys, the best gorilla joke of 1897. Gorilla, did you hear about the gorilla who escaped from the zoo? The zookeeper? No, I did not. Gorilla, that is because I am a quiet gorilla. Muffled sounds of gorilla violence.
And with that, yeah, let's Farah and V, y'all are finally alone together as everyone seems to be occupied.
And Farrah kind of like, after a little moment, kind of looks up at V.
V
Kinda
across the
rubs-
room.
She kind of rubs her eyes a little bit and she just looks at you guys. You know, I never wanted you to go full mechanical. I felt like you lose yourself, lose your humanity, but I feel like you lost that a long time ago, and we just never talked about it. And then again, I mean, I'm missing a lot of memories at this point. I know, I remember bits and pieces of our journey together, but I just remember the first time seeing you, looking like she just kind of gestures at all of you, looking like that. My heart just sank. I, it felt like a part of me lost.
It's gonna sound a little weird, but I feel more human than ever.
Huh?
He wouldn't be wrong.
Yeah, no, that does sound really weird. You know what's also really weird?
Hmm.
I learned I can lie in this form. I used to not be able to lie. Like I used to not be able to like keep secrets or like I kind of didn't really have a filter. I kind of had to say, I just said what appeared, and I just kind of was very blunt and said what was going on. But now I learned I can lie, and I can hold on to secrets. Like, did you know Yin is Belcora? Like, of all the things, like they made me learn that. I'm like not even a day old. I'm 2 days old at this point.
He's just gonna deadpan stare. Well, who?
Yeah, you know the barmaid or the owner, Yin is Belcora. Yeah, she's the one that's running the temple. She resets every night at midnight. She's not there, breaks the timeline, world-ending shit. You know, the norm. But yeah, I'm also supposed to be like a knight for Ophelia. But then we went to that Shadowrun place, and I like locked up, and I just couldn't do anything, and I felt so pathetic. Like I couldn't do anything. Couldn't save her. Couldn't protect her. I couldn't even save you. I couldn't protect you, and I feel like I have to be carried by you guys, and like I'm just being dragged along. I'm not even able to be like I'm a healer. But even that only goes so far.
I'm pretty sure you're kind of keeping them all together with your healing. My
That's true.
situation's unique.
That's true. I did have to sew what's his bucket's arm back on today. That was kind of funny.
Huh.
Yeah, Terrio, his arm was like not super connected anymore.
Did you find anything weird when you were with Teriel?
He found a book, had some words about spiders in it. He seemed very, very engrossed.
Spiders? That's weird. You go to a shadow realm and then suddenly you're talking about spiders? Maybe when you get them checked out by like an actual professional. Lemon drops can only get you so far in this medicinal field.
We probably should have someone open his head up to check his brain.
I feel like you've got like a saw hand that could just like it just pop, and you got a brain. You got it. You're gonna
No saw hands, but I feel like the body can be changed. So we'll put a pin on that idea.
You're saying like you
Come
could
back
like
to it.
make a hinge for his head to like it open? Is that pop it open? What what does it feel like being you? Because like you don't do you feel anything anymore? Like physically? Because I know you don't really have any skin, you're just metal. But like you I mean, I'm assuming you got rid of your nervous system because you looked at that as a weakness. But like
I feel physical contact, but no warmth anymore. And for the record, this was just a side project that kind of fell through. Kind of wasn't looking forward to this. But we take the hand we're dealt.
true. It was funny that we ended up both having to do it in the same day. I mean, you know, I had my oh revivic reviv I came back again. Um uh and then I come back to you, and it was weird seeing like my own like vigil, like my own death, because I don't remember it. Like I remember parts of it, and I remember, you being there, and I remember being sad to go, and I remember like little bits here and there, but like I don't remember like a huge amount to. I just I knew you were there for me, and I'm still trying to be there for you. Also, Nilo has a fire frog now, and I'm not a fan of it, and I don't know why. Like, I know I'm not a fan of fire, but like, I can't figure out like it feels like it's just this like involuntary like whenever I see fire. Weird.
That's that's a reason in conversation for a more sober remembery time.
Okay. Okay, I probably remember to ask you. But boy, it's good to know. Should I feel better? Should I go get another glass? Is that
You probably shouldn't.
uh,
See, when you have to ask, that means no.
that's right. Maybe water?
That's probably better.
Okay. I'll like poke my head out and look down to see if there's anybody over in the bar area.
Nilo seems to be behind the bar for some reason.
Nilo! Nilo!
Meanwhile, in the bathtub.
No, no. Somebody back there. Okay. I'm gonna go lay down again. And she just onto the bed again.
And B, what are you doing now? Are you gonna watch over Phil, or are you gonna go join the others?
I'm gonna watch over her.
And what's everyone else doing? Shade and I think Nilo are taking a bath.
Yep.
Maybe together, not sure. Do you split the bath? Do you share the bath? Do you watch each other's back? It is war times, you know.
Right.
Nilo could
I'd
die
rather
at any
leave that
time.
up to
Nilo,
Shade.
Nilo, call high or low.
Shay,
Call high or low.
That's up to you, Nilo.
So understood.
Oh,
it's
oh.
dead even.
let me try
Hold
again.
on.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
There we
Alright,
go.
there's one bathtub.
There's one bathtub.
Well, guess we're sharing.
You both don't
outside.
really wear clothes to begin with that much outside of Shade's arm.
I
You don't
wear
really.
a ton of clothes.
I don't wear
Shade
clothes. I just wear.
doesn't.
I don't wear clothes. I just wear my my armor looks
Now
like clothes.
describe how this nice, pristine bubble bath colors change when you enter it.
Like they walk in and only see one bath, and he was just like, "So you come here around often?"
Uh,
It's got like massaging bubbles and stuff like that. It's just like a hot tub.
Has a little,
I promise I
has a
don't
little-
butt.
you know, but
There's a little bit of jazz music playing in the background, just like softly.
soft music.
Cheryl hands reaches in, just start playing it, and just like goes out.
What is Teriel doing? As Nilo and them are taking the bath.
Honestly, just waiting to hear any commotion, to be honest. But he would be probably making his way back to the bedroom just to check in on the other two. But honestly, he just really wants to hear what the hell's going on because this is just a form of entertainment.
I will say, after some time, Yen will kind of get herself together a little bit. After she takes her moment to kind of get up, she just says, "Thank you. Like I said, I have to be here every single night at midnight, so you have to be in the tower in my place. I'm so sorry to ask you all this. I knew it would overwhelm you. I thought maybe you would find the answers on your own through exploring the tower. I don't exactly like bringing up the mistakes that, well, where I am now.
So you want me to go to your tower? Wait,
To
what?
yours, my dear. Yours.
Oh,
I want you to keep exploring the tower. I cannot go myself, as
I
it would destabilize too much. And I have to be here by midnight every night, or else I'll lose my own timeline in the process.
I can certainly try to do that. It may be a little hard with the war happening in Nilo, but exploring the tower was already my top priority.
Yes, I trust that you'll find the memories that you seek. Being out of the timeline for so long must have severely jostled your memories. While I still remember everything that's happened in my own world, it's been a plague more than a blessing. I pray that yours doesn't become that and becomes a blessing instead. Whatever you find, and she just kind of looks you dead in the eye, like a little bit of like some composure coming about herself. Remember, we're always moving forward. Don't get stuck in the past like I am. You're who you are now. And you can make as many new memories as you can old. Because I spend every day plagued by my old memories. And you have a chance to create new ones. So please, while you try to remember who you are, don't forget to still keep writing who you are. Still. Keep creating the story. For the both of us. She kind of gives you a almost like pain smile. One of us has to make it out and with a happy ending.
Ophelia, it's kind of Yeah, I guess. Thank you, Belcor. Feels a little weird to call you that, but
You can continue calling me Yin. It's what
alright.
I've. It's the new story I've made. While I still want to save my own timeline, I'm Yin here, and that's good enough by me for right now.
Alright.
She'll give up and give you one last hug before opening up the cellar with a little bit of magic. And she will actually impart with you. And before you go, I'd like to bestow a little bit of my own magic I've learned. It's the
Hmm?
least I can do for you to actually explore the tower to the fullest. It is, well, our magic after all. And she'll hold out her hands.
Ophelia will take her hands.
You feel a sense of magic flow between you as you kind of like fight the mental fog of having like another flashback, but she tries to keep you in the moment as you just see the energy flowing back and forth. It is almost like feeling home in a sense, as if your own magic is being strengthened. And she pours all the magic she has left over into you, and you feel yourself feeling much, much more powerful than you were before.
Wow. Whoa. Thank you. I won't forget this.
She says, I can imagine, we're stubborn like that. She gives you a much more heartfelt smile. Now let's get back to the others. Well, while we may have our secrets here, I'm sure everyone else is up there spilling both secrets and drinks. It's a nice thing about being a tavern owner. You get to hear all of the secrets as well as everything else. She'll lead you back up, and she'll close the trap door underneath the table and neatly sets aside the rug that was rudely cast aside. And she'll go back to her notes. I still need a little bit longer. If you could, just make sure that everyone seems okay. You need to go to your own party now, I'm sure. They're your friends here. Please keep them
Right.
close.
Of course. And then she's gonna head on out. Is Tyrael out here or is he in the room?
Or he's just listening over the conversation that's going over with the. It's literally just a form of entertainment for him.
Gonna pull Tyrael back into the room. And she's gonna say, okay. So I just got hit with a lot of information. And I'm technically not supposed to tell anyone, but you kind of already know a little bit.
I would assume so.
Okay, so me and Yin, we're both Belcora, but it's not like the soul thing that you mentioned. It's
Oh.
we're Belcoras, but from different timelines.
This is worse. You can see Tyrael's face just like go from like okay to okay.
And we both ran from some adventurers, I guess, that went into our tower. I ran into the future apparently, and she ran into our timeline. Nilo. I just imagine that just like faintly behind the wall, just like let me lick you, and while we're having this serious conversation. But based, yeah. So I guess you were sort of right. I mean, you were right. I am the Belcora of this timeline. Um, I need. She said that I need to keep exploring the tower to get my memories back, though.
Well, we should probably explore the tower as soon as possible. We should be
Yeah,
fine when we get up early in the morning. But me and Nilo do have a fight tomorrow.
right.
I wouldn't want them to be exhausted or tired.
They're
So
probably hungover. I think you got a good chance.
I really hope that Nilo actually puts up a really good fight.
Oh,
I need them to.
what are you planning?
Oh no, we'll find out.
Hmm. Kinda gives him a curious look. Says, all right.
Well,
Guess we
if
should head to bed.
just make sure that Farah and V are okay. They did not seem very well, so I didn't want to intrude on them in the room. So
Right?
I'll be with you shortly.
All right. Hmm. Oh, just gonna head on over here. Be like, hey guys, what's going on?
You see
Just
Farah. What
Just
do
the
you see
awkward
Farah?
shuffle away.
Is that? Huh? Oh, I am
Everything okay
thirsty.
here, Chris?
Do you have water?
Um, do
We
you
could
want me
use
to
some
get you
water,
some
yes.
water? Okay, I'll go get you some water. Okay.
You
Head
she's
over
Before
like
you
there.
do that,
shriveled. She's like shriveled a little bit.
before you do that, Ophelia, you're gonna look at your hands, and you kind of yeah, something you kind of think to yourself, and you kind of as you're going to get some water, is just the thought of water alone causes a small amount of water to begin to pool in your hands.
Gonna stop where she is and start cupping her hands and go, whoa, 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 whoa.
Uh, you accidentally cast create water.
I used to just do that.
Okay, I guess I can do this now. She's gonna like hold out her cupped hands to Farah and be like, here, I guess.
Ferris head just drops into your hands. Just
it's,
splash.
it's like that art where it's like, shh, you're safe now, my child.
Yeah. About like 5 seconds go by, the bubbles stop popping up, and then she just. Huh. Thanks. Um. Yeah.
um,
She's kind of staring at your hands at this moment. Did you just create water?
I I guess. Yes.
Huh.
Um,
And I can't do that anymore. So good job.
okay. And she kind of just like opens her hands and lets the water fall and like shakes her hands off a little
I'll get
bit.
that. Don't you worry. And I just like jump on the floor and start like sucking it up. Vacuum mode engaged.
You I will say you will slowly find yourself to have a few more spells than you didn't previously know.
Oh boy.
You
Fun
don't know what
time.
they are yet, but they will show up.
Manifestation.
I would like to
Does
remind you, create water is on the divine spell list.
okay.
Uh,
Fun times, fun times.
Where
Because
are
Hmm?
where are Nilo and Shade?
I believe they're taking a bath and
Wait, the cat is
licking
willing to
each
take.
other.
Oh, that makes more sense. I was gonna say, I'm like, the cat is willing to get into a bathtub? That's shocking. Do I need to go check out Nilo if he's willing to jump into a bathtub? I might need to. I'm not sober enough to do a psyche bell at the moment.
I think he'll be okay.
You should tell Nilo to go chat with the band person and that there's a private room on the second floor with a key. It's behind the bar with his name on it. I may have made it up while I was
Sarah,
drunk.
Sarah, I'm not wingmanning for Nilo right
I'll
now.
do it.
No, you're staying in bed.
Oh, gets like cocooned, like you just like wrap
I
Farrah up
just
like in the blankets like a
I just like
burrito.
swaddle her, just swaddle her up and lay her down on the bed. You
I have
have
been
had
trapped.
done enough tonight, okay?
I have been trapped.
You are going to sleep,
Okay.
and I also need some sleep.
My point still stands. There's a key if you want a private room.
No,
You don't have to bring anybody with you. You can have it to yourself so you can have at least some quiet time.
no, I think I need to be with friends right now.
That's also fair.
All right. V, do you even need to sleep?
Technically, no.
I do it out
Technically?
of comfort.
I do need some downtime, but I don't need to sleep. These little
Right.
air quotes.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna go ahead and get some rest. And then she hops into bed and just kind of turns over with her back to the room, but she doesn't actually fall asleep. She just kind of pretends to be asleep, and because she can't sleep after all this.
Meanwhile, in the corner,
Another person gets fatigue. Hell yeah.
Fuck me.
More people
Okay.
get. Half the party is firmly fatigued.
Teriel is in the room, and when he's pretty much fast asleep against the wall in his own armor.
He's just
Sleeping in
sleeping.
armor makes you fatigued.
The thing is, I feel like getting a bath actually helped Nilo get like slightly more sober.
You no
But
longer
not
have
really.
fatigue.
Yay! I'm great.
I like how he's like, oh yes.
Yeah, Nilo's just like fully naked, just cleaning his head, swaying to music. I don't know how Shay's reacting, but I mean,
I know you guys can hear me drinking.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, Bria, you good, buddy?
Am I muted? Oh my god, am I muted? Oh my fucking god.
This whole
Ah.
time was muted.
So, like I was saying, how do you react to Nilo swaying his butt?
This way is what.
As he cleans himself with a towel, dries himself. Yeah, dries himself. You just shared a tub with a cat.
A cat, yeah.
Yeah. Who tried to lick you.
There's copious amounts of elven absinthe happening in the tavern right now.
Teriel will lock the door at the end of the night, just so you know.
I hate you.
Yeah, we're actually, like I said, we're for the most part good, unless anyone else has any foreplay moments they would like to live out.
No.
Other than putting a nice little bioluminescent lamp that has a jellyfish in it.
Nilo's totally taking that room for himself if he knows about it. I mean,
Who knows about it?
I don't
that's
think
only if
he
he knows
would.
about it. He would not,
You would
because
not.
Farrah is asleep.
However, the band member did know about it.
About.
The question is
Okay.
whether or not the band member, aka the one with wings,
AKA the.
I mean, they
Nilo
just
gets
take
out
the
of the
room for
shower.
themselves. Like,
Farrah is 100% trying to wingman that relationship in the corner.
I would. I
Well,
would like
actually,
to know.
let me
Just
rephrase.
freshly out of the shower, Nilo.
Drunk Farrah is trying to wingman that.
I would like to know that Terrio has like what seems to be some like big metal device that is just wrapped up in cloth right now, and right next to his bed.
You have a sleep apnea machine? Jesus.
No,
No.
it's a surprise tool for later.
It's a surprise tool, but
Not another one.
it is forever. There is no end to them. There is just always surprise tools for later.
Anyways, well, I mean, if
Yeah,
you
we-
come into the room, Farrah
Yeah.
will let you know, but
I was gonna say Nilo would go straight for the room without light.
Mm.
Yeah. I was trying to move him.
Nilo.
I was about to say, I swear to God, if I'm in a wall.
If you're in a wall.
As you come in, you'll just hear, Nilo, Nilo,
Huh?
come to the swaddled baby.
What?
I can't move.
It's just
I've been trapped.
Okay.
It's okay. Ophelia got me.
What is this?
Hey, okay, so I may have gotten kind of drunk. There is a key behind the bar with your name written on it for you and the other one that the band guy that you liked.
Oh.
There's a private room for you upstairs on the second floor. It has
Yeah,
your name on it.
perfect.
It might be written as Niwo, just letting you know now.
Niwo.
I was drunk when I was writing it.
I understand.
Just hears Ophelia sigh. It just freezes.
Nilo's just like, understood. I'm gonna get that.
He's gonna Bjorn me again.
and see, the band members just up there performing the. You see this guy just rocking this musical instrument he has in his hands. Just rocking the musical instrument.
Nilo like picks up the key and just like puts it in his pocket and like waves.
I thought you were
over to
naked.
The wolf. I said.
Pocket
He
has earrings.
Did I stutter?
To the party naked.
I stick it into my pocket.
Right.
Nilo, you're naked. I stick it into my pocket.
His pocket, if naked, was just his neck fluff. That's all it was.
It's just full.
Like, oh, I dropped the key. Oh darn, where'd they go?
I mean, he could just be in a towel. I mean, regardless, he's waving over.
I just like to imagine that there's just like a bunch of other things that you forgot that's in there, so you just pull out like random things, like a live.
As long as
bottle.
you don't get it out of your bag of holding.
Yeah.
Look, see? Look, it's my keys, my sword that I supposedly had, my dead father, my other set of keys.
So fuck.
The other he seems to be playing the musical instruments for all the drunken dwarves.
Nilo's gonna like show the key and like hint towards the fact that is like there's a room, but he also hints towards the fact of you don't gotta, but it's there, and he's going to go to the room because he needs to actually dry off properly.
They go into the
Clean
second
himself.
floor room?
Yes, he will go to second floor room.
Don't
Oh,
think
it's
I
raining
didn't.
again.
Yeah,
Why
of
am I
course,
here also?
of course it's rain.
Why am I here? Excuse me.
We're all here.
I prepare every map as if every single person is there.
Why is there not a?
It's probably your old photos too. I even
It's
We're
raining
all
again.
sharing the bed. It's okay.
Farrah told everyone about the room. Farrah told everyone about the room, but forgot to tell them who it was for.
It says
Oh.
Weewo on the. It says Weewo on it. Like it
No.
doesn't even say Nilo or Niwo. It says Weewo.
Just fucking wee woo shit.
Fucking Weewoo, Weewoo.
I don't know how y'all are
There's a
seeing stuff.
pentagram in here. Excuse me, what the fuck? Is it?
We're gonna ignore the pentagram. I think that was probably something I was gonna do later. I don't even see the map, by the way. I'm completely locked out of my own map. I can see it on stream.
And that's the only reason you know.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Loading tab on the second floor. It's
Also,
raining. It's raining.
I love that Zerda was that I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna say that there's a key that exists, and Zerda's like, yeah, that's funny.
It's funny.
Also, yeah, this is so many old artworks.
Yeah.
So many old. Why is this the combination of people?
I don't know. It doesn't.
It's old
Like,
V, old Bloom.
Yeah.
God damn it. Can't even drag myself. This bothers me. The wall, the fucking hallway. It's off center.
Yeah, no, I tried very hard. I tried so long in this map. This map was so off
Why?
kilter.
Why is there a fucking thing on the floor in that room?
I forget why. That was built into the actual thing. I tried covering it up.
I'm gonna put a tarp over it.
There's the upstairs parlor. What the fuck?
Yeah, there's an upstairs parlor. You just never walked upstairs.
I can never walk upstairs because it would require me to be dragged. Oh.
Yeah, this is the second floor map. It has a big, it's a nice office table up here.
I really gotta show you the miracle of what's it called? I think it's
I have-
tiles.
I have layers. I use layers on a bunch of other maps. I just didn't have it for this one.
Yeah.
The Young Green Dragon. It's the Young Green Dragon stat block.
Is there any other bell chorus I should know about? I just saw that.
There we go. Zeno is now, he's kind of popped up into the room. He goes, hey, cool cats. Looks like you like the music down there?
I can't really do much about that. Sadly. I had actually a question because I realized I never introduced myself and I never asked your name.
Well, you're a cool cat, and I'm Zeno. It's a pleasure to meet you, cool cat.
You can call me Nilo.
Is that what you want to be called?
Whatever you want to call me. But also, I got to this point and I didn't think further. I'm sorry.
He pulls out a chair and starts to strum his guitar a little bit. Usually, whenever I meet someone, the best thing to do is just show them what you're interested in and see if both of the interests line up. You kind of see him begin to strum his guitar. He's gonna do his performance check. He still has heavily elven absinthe in his system. We add the performance, add skill, and since he's specialized in it, there we go. Oh my gosh. Please save. Please save. I swear. Update actor. There we go. He begins to do a performance and say, yeah, it's one of the songs I like to write. I have the band that we form, but most of the brain of the operations is up here. You kind of see him give a slight grin about himself.
God?
He points to his head. He begins to play some softer music. Usually he plays a little bit more harder music, but it's a little bit quieter up here, so he can afford to have the quieter music being in a more private room. Tell me, Nila, what interests you?
Well, in all honesty, I actually used to want to be a drummer. It's just nothing really happened, and I couldn't keep up with the lessons.
Got our mate down below. Has only been practicing drums for about a few years now, but I'm sure I could get you a private lesson with him.
Actually, I think that would be nice. I Okay, so one, my friend totally tried to be like wingman for this, but at the same time, I did have genuine questions. I did overhear you and the crocodile on our way back.
Yeah, that's yeah, he kind of he looks a bit shyly a little bit at. He kind of mentions, yeah, Dealey over there can be a little bit of a buzzkill sometimes. A lot of, well, past incidents. The world isn't exactly ready for musical talent in a world of, well, monsters.
Yeah, but I was curious, because I know y'all were talking about vampires. What was the deal with that? You don't have to tell me, because I feel like that's touchy. But
Nah, yes, Dealey and he'll tell you all day long. Yes, some of the others and they'll be more quiet. They are more indifferent. We worked the gig there. It was one of the better gigs we ever had. But we saw some vampire hunters. Something about Belmont, this or that. They weren't actually able to kill the vampires, so they decided to harass all the staff into quitting or leaving. The vampire himself tried to get rid of them, but being vampire hunters, they knew exactly what to do. It was more of an annoyance than anything, but when they want to act up, well, you know how monsters are in this world. I see him strumming the guitar in a more lower tone. A lot of monsters.
No, I get that. I guess the only reason that it caught me off guard is because I haven't heard of another vampire besides myself.
All vampires gotta come from somewhere. I don't think you're born out of eggs like dragons.
No, yeah. But even then,
Or
they still wouldn't come out of nowhere. But yeah, no, I get that.
he kind of leans
it's just
in.
a situation.
You know, dwarves come out of stones, right? It's like stones themselves give birth to dwarves. I hear them, they just pop out of the world. There's like a little hole in the wall. And there suddenly you have a dwarf standing still. Fascinating, ain't it?
That sounds weird.
And that's your weird facts of the day with Zeno the Wolf Dragon. You see him begin to, he begins to kind of cockily strum his guitar a little bit more. He has stories as a bard. It's always fun to tell the ones that people find weird. If you tell a normal story, well, no one really listens. I feel ya. This is all. This is all just Saber roleplay. This is the last roleplay of the night.
I was going to say, it's like if we really wanted, it could just end here.
Yeah,
I can also, I can
guys.
actually roleplay this in private chat if you want. It'll give me a little bit better time to think about it.
Yeah, I don't say it's up to you what you want to do. But yeah, again, it's like at this point, since we're starting to lose people, it might be.
We'll roleplay this. I'll go ahead and read out. We'll roleplay this in RP
And
chat.
then we fade to black as the stars arise from the across.
It's like Nilo gets laid.
Yeah, I rather
Smash.
Ziv. We're gonna go raid Ziv the Kobold. We're gonna go raid Ziv the Kobold because there's no better person to raid than the guy with the word kobold in his name.
Nice. Yeah, good night, guys.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.